Sports Center.
How would you feel about LeBron James in a San Antonio Spurs uniform? Well, according to Bet Online, Spurs have the best odds to land James if they're able to draft his son, Bronny. San Antonio Spurs could not win their third straight. They fall apart late last night. They do return to action tomorrow night against the Magic. And Ben Johnson, the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator, says he's going back to the Motor City. Work to be done.
Joe Reinagle.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix.
What a great day, man. I sincerely almost wore shorts to work today.
Really?
I mean, I came that close to throwing on a pair of shorts and enjoying the sunshine.
Except for we're in a room with no windows, so there was no sunshine to be enjoyed.
Doesn't matter. It would have made me feel better.
I wasn't thinking shorts, although I did wear shorts both Saturday and Sunday. But I was trying to decide, do I go with a long sleeve tee or a half zip today? But knowing our building in the last couple of days, it's been hot in the studio while we're there working on the air conditioning. I did expect today it to be cold as hell in here.
But it's not.
It's not.
No.
And I'm not sure what Rob ate for breakfast, but there is a lingering odor in the studio. Now, we've taken the trash can and moved it outside, but the odor is still lingering. And I'm not sure because I didn't go through the trash, but when you look, there was half a bottle of Gold Peak tea that was not drinking all the way.
Right.
A big old, because he stops every day at the convenience store and gets a 1,000-ounce or whatever cup, and it looked full. It was in there. And I have no idea what else was in there.
What's he get a cup full of?
Probably Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay.
Coke, Diet Coke.
Convenience stores are open at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, they're 24 hours, man.
Holy cow.
I mean, it's Rob. I mean, he's a Boy Scout. He might plan ahead. He might go to the grocery store, the convenience store the night ahead, just leave it in the cup holder so it's there in the morning when he's coming. Now, granted, he was using a styrofoam cup and not one of those fancy Stanleys.
Yeah. Which the ice would have been perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine.
We have Maggie and I, it's not a Stanley. So it's the slum version, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But it works. Because we put ice in this thing on our way back from Houston the other day. And since it took us 2.5 hours longer than we planned, but the ice was still perfectly right there. No problem by the time we got home.
Those things really are crazy.
It is.
Right?
Yes.
I don't know that I would spend that kind of money on a cup.
What's a Stanley?
Right? Well, I know.
Now, what are those? About $50?
I think they're more than that.
Are they
fancy
really?
ones? Because I noticed that they're not quite matching Stanleys, but they're pretty close to it. But Jasmine and Lindsay in our sales department, they've got fancy Stanleys. And I'm just, like I remember Yetis, and there's something about having a Stanley Cup that in this version pisses me off because in my idea, when I hear Stanley Cup, I'm thinking of a hockey team that has won the Holy Grail. And to be able to drink out of that Stanley Cup would be a dream come true, not something that I can order online.
Well, since that's never going to happen to you, you might just want to buy a Stanley one of these.
For the record, my kid has taken a crap in the actual Stanley Cup.
She took a crap in there.
She literally took a crap in the Stanley Cup.
Why did she do that?
I have had a drink out of the Stanley Cup. Why did she do that? She was a baby. And the Stanley Cup was in town when we had the Rampage. And I put her in the cup to take a picture of her in the cup. And when I pulled her out of the cup, her diaper needed to be changed. So literally she took a crap in the Stanley Cup.
Well, she probably thought that's what it was for.
Well, I mean, at that point, I don't think she knew. I just think it was time. She had no control.
Does she have control now?
I would hope so. He's almost 26. He's almost off the insurance.
I wouldn't know.
So I would hope.
I mean, you never know about kids these days, right? It's like they can be nuts.
They could be nuts, but that doesn't mean they don't have abilities to control when they got to go.
I haven't thought about BM in a while. So Stanley Cup, one that you drink out of like every day, not just once.
Yes. The Holy Grail.
$35 on Amazon. Now I don't know how big that one is. How big is that one, Pledge?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question.
Well, they're different sizes.
They're from 141 to 45, right? Now I do think we're going to get
40 ounce.
40 ounces.
We are going to get some Stanley Cups next week in Las Vegas.
We are.
Really? Yes.
Wow. Well, that's a nice surprise.
Are they the pink ones? Those are the ones that are expensive.
I don't think so.
Is it like a goodie bag thing?
Yes.
Wow. Cool.
Yes. Our friends from Synergenics are providing us with
Is that
Stanley
right?
Cups next week.
Well, that's fantastic of them to do
just
that.
Don't tell Rob and RJ or Spence.
So it's just us.
Pretty much.
Well, good. They don't need it anyway. That's fantastic. I'm excited now.
Well, Rob already has a Stanley Cup.
Uh-huh.
Although he's got the original old school, looks like it belongs in an Army Jeep Stanley Cup.
As long as it works, it doesn't matter.
Well, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
As long as it works.
I mean, I'll take the pink one. I really don't care as long as it works.
Well, see, and I've been using this Yeti for a couple, 3 years from an Army Navy game. I don't know, 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
It works great. My water stays cold throughout the whole show, although it doesn't last throughout the whole show, but it stays cold.
I don't get that fancy. San Antonio Sports Star logo bottle.
See, now how old is that water?
Well, I don't know.
Because that's the old logo. That doesn't even have the comments from about your white belt.
That doesn't have the white belt comments.
Yeah.
Well, you drug this out of the closet.
Well, the other day when there was no water in the building, I went rummaging and I found some old water. I assume it doesn't go bad.
I hope not.
I mean,
I've been drinking it all week.
It's
only Tuesday.
No issues?
I've had no issues no issues.
It's amazing what you can find in a prize closet when there's no water in the building.
Yeah.
Oh, look, this is still here. It's still good.
Well, and it's just a good reminder for all of y'all that we got a golf tournament coming up in March.
We do. Get signed up now, sasportstar.com.
And you too can have a schwanky San Antonio Sports Star water bottle.
Yeah, we're almost like a professionally produced show at this point.
Aren't we, though?
Like, I look over, I see James, I don't see Ryan. We mentioned the Golf Classic, and if you're watching on YouTube, immediately there is a deal on the screen on the sign up, and it's even got one of those fancy QR codes that I'm assuming is a link that will take you right to the sign up page. I hope that's what it's for.
That's very cool.
I'm sure that's what it's for.
Well,
we're talking about it, and boom, there it is.
Why don't we test out that theory?
Oh, you're gonna scan the QR code?
Why not?
Take you right to sign up?
It sure does.
It takes the $400 right out of your wallet?
Takes it. Well, let's see.
You get signed up with the team?
No, you got your all the info here, and it says ready to golf, solo or team. You just fill it out, and you can do PayPal, you can do a credit card, you can do Venmo.
All kinds of ways.
Make it really easy for you.
That is fantastic. Can't wait to be out at the Golf Club of Texas.
That's going to be fun.
For our golf tournament coming up March 25th. We're probably already a third of the way full.
Wow.
Right?
Really?
And we haven't even really started promoting it yet.
Really haven't. But look, it's going to sell out. And the fall one sold out really quick.
Every year.
Yeah.
And you can get a new fancy bottle of water, probably with our current logo and not that one. As long as Rudy over at Artesia Springs does his part.
Well, I'm sure he will.
Well, I mean, I know he's listening right now because he's texted me about your nobody wants to see those white legs. Make sure he wears pants. Seen better legs on a coffee table.
Wow.
He also says we need to do an excerpt called Handsome Business Owners of San Antonio. If you've ever met Rudy, he would never be a part of that. So I don't know why he would suggest that.
Huh. Well, I'm going to wear shorts now and make sure I show them on Facebook or YouTube or both.
Or Twitter or wherever. Right now,
Sure.
you're not going to pull your pants off now.
Well, maybe.
Please don't.
Why not?
Well, you just said you're going to go with shorts tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I will. Is it going to be hot tomorrow again?
I have no idea. No idea. All I know is I am kind of dreading tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
What time? I think I've got to get up like at 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to be there at 8 o'clock.
I got to be there at 8 o'clock.
Be there at 8 o'clock.
I've got jury duty tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
And you've got to be there at 8. They say in the email that parking is limited, and there's only like one garage that validates. And I mean, whatever.
Well, you cheap.
Well, I mean, but
SOB, just pay for parking.
Well, I'm not worried about paying for parking. I'm worried about the convenience of it. Like if the paid garage is far away and I've got to walk and it costs $4 more to park somewhere closer, I will do that. But also, I'm anticipating a lot of people are going to be hunting for very few parking spots about the same time.
Well, they might be.
And then when you get up for something like this 2 hours earlier than you normally do, right?
I just want to know what you're going to do when they tell you, yes, we want you, Mr. Minix, and the trial starts Monday.
Well, I won't be there. Pick a good alternate.
The trial starts Monday. We expect you here at 8 a.m. sharp.
Oh, well, pick an alternate.
Wow.
I'll be in Las Vegas. I'm going to Las Vegas for work.
Oh, I would love to be there when they say that.
I mean, I know there might be consequences if I don't show up Monday, but I'm not going to be here Monday.
You may stay in Las Vegas. Just send for Joanna and
just move out there.
Just move out there.
All together?
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, you'd be a cab driver in about a week.
Cab
Not
driver.
that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying. I've known some people like that. They went out to Vegas, decided they were going to stay, and then all of a sudden, they have no money left. Now, Pledges got up on the screen what they do to you if you don't show up or respond.
Now, here's the thing. I did respond. I went online to their portal and filled it out. I will appear tomorrow morning, assuming I wake up. Deliberately create excuses to avoid being selected for jury duty. I'm not deliberately creating an excuse. It's there. And they can hold you in contempt, fine, between $100 and $1,000. That's it.
Well, so that's okay, huh?
Well, I'd much rather pay $100 fine to get out of jury duty than $1,000 fine. But I'm not deliberately making up an excuse. It's not like I scheduled knee surgery the day I knew I had jury duty, or
we could just pop you. We could just say I could take a hammer and just pop your knee real quick.
I'd rather you not.
Yeah, you'd have a great excuse.
3 to 6 months in jail.
Wow.
Yeah, but I know a guy. A best bail bonds.
Yeah.
Get out of jail fast. I don't think I'm not worried about it. I'm hoping it's one of those one day. If I do want to get selected for a jury, though, I think that would be fun, depending on obviously the case. Just not this week.
Well, I mean, it's either now or never. So you should have just called him up and said, hey, I got a conflict.
Well, the problem is you can't call them. There is a phone number that's listed. Try calling that thing.
You can't call them.
I mean, you can, but you go into phone tree hell. Press this button, press that button, press this button. You're on hold forever, and then it disconnected because I was going to call and say, can I reschedule this? On the online part, like if you can't make this day, my excuses don't fall into any of those categories. So I'm going to show up and be honest.
Okay.
And hopefully that's good enough.
Well, there you go.
I've already filled out the questionnaire, Gilberto, who's telling me to go online and do that. I've done that, but I'm going to Vegas. That's not an option.
But it's not for pleasure. It's not like you're.
No, I'm going for work.
Vacation. It's for work.
It's work.
Right. So if anybody from the Bexar County Commissioners or Bexar County Court is listening, Jason needs a pass.
No, I mean, but I want to, if you got a good one day, like
well, how do you know it's going to be a one-day thing?
Well, see,
has somebody got a speeding ticket?
Well, see, here's what I'm worried about. I texted Nico LaHood
Uh-huh.
and asked him for the court that I've been picked for, because I've got to go to Judge Christina Escalana's court, Bexar County Petit Jury 186 District Court, blah, blah, blah. He says, criminal felony cases. Plan to be there all day. Great.
Nice. There you go.
See, but those sound fun.
Yeah, but it's fun, but those aren't going to last one day.
Well, they might.
No.
They might.
A criminal felony, there's no way. You're screwed.
Sure.
Well, we'll let you know what happens in Vegas.
Well, here's the problem. Everything's in my name on my credit card. I
That's
got
all
to
right.
go.
Well, we could, dude, I hate for you to get thrown in jail or $1,000 fine.
I'll just put it on my expense report. I'm sure Lance would love that.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he'd be happy with that. So, yeah, we'll miss you in Vegas.
I'm going to Vegas.
Yeah, we'll miss you.
I'm going to Vegas.
Won't be the same without you. Now, Gilberto's really trying to bring you down. You see this on YouTube?
What the hell's Gilberto doing?
He says, my trial was a jury trial, and we let go of jurors who had trips and plane tickets that could not be rescheduled.
See, there you go. He's not bringing me down.
Okay, I got a little heart right there. I couldn't see the whole thing. You see that little heart?
Yes.
What is that for?
If you want to heart the guy's comment.
So it's just that guy, or I could put I could put 100.
You could put 100, the wool face, or congratulations, smiley face.
Woo. I'm having a good time now.
Yeah, good
and
Lord.
You can do more than one, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Woo. There you go, Gilberto. You got them all, buddy.
Actually, the more notifications you put on a post for a live video, the better it is for the actual video.
So we should like all of those?
Yeah,
I mean, you should just be throwing.
Seems like your job. I mean, half the time I see the comments later in the day. Although I'm curious. Carlos says need to get the whiskey. For what? What are we getting whiskey for?
That's not a bad idea.
I've missed out, but I like the idea.
Not a bad idea.
Apparently, he needs to listen to this show drunk.
Well, of course. We always sound better if you are drunk.
Don't we all?
Of course.
Don't we all? Gotta have a lot of whiskey to watch the Pro Bowl or whatever the hell the Pro Bowl thing is. And why do we have Pro Bowl replacements when there's not an actual game?
It's an honor.
We'll get into that coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You thinking about the big game this Sunday? Or in 2 Sundays, Pro Bowl, I guess, or flag football, whatever the hell they're doing. You know, if there's something on TV you want to watch, the Roo Pub is the best place to go watch those games. 281 in Redland Road with those 3 massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around. And as I've said many times, the food the Roo Pub is fantastic. They got the biggest and the best wings in town. About 15 different burgers on the menu, including the original Wemby burger. I love their fried shrimp. The chicken sandwich is great. Pledge says the salads are wonderful. They got the best onion rings in San Antonio. Try those Philly cheesesteak fries. They're great. And that kitchen is open late till 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. They have happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night. The best place to watch a game. And if you want to go watch the game, have a couple of drinks, eat something, go play poker, the Big Blind is steps away in the same shopping center as the Roo Pub, which is right next to the Angry Elephant. 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's San Antonio area attorneys. Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day. and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry, with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancer pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax, 100% natural male enhancement formulas, only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Eczema flaring up again. We have good news. Exoderm. If you or someone you love suffers from eczema or dermatitis, get Exoderm, the common sense answer for eczema. This stuff really does work. Exoderm contains the #1 doctor-recommended ingredient in a clean hypoallergenic cream with no harsh additives. Take back control of your eczema with affordable, fast-acting Exoderm Flare Control Cream. Exoderm. It's in the first aid aisle of your local Walmart, H-E-B, and other fine stores.
Patients everywhere are experiencing joint pain relief thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. So how does this non-surgical approach work? QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff explains.
It's like when you get a paper cut and the cells that come onto that scene first stop the bleeding, and then it recruits more cells to form new skin and new soft tissue. And then you look down a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's like nothing happened and that paper cut never existed.
In this same way, QC Kinetics uses your natural biologics to help repair and restore aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
We take those same similar cells in different areas that are arthritic, are painful, and we cause this kind of internal self-healing that can resolve patients' pain.
Relief without surgery. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
The Jim Rome Show.
Hey, Jim Rome here, and back in the military city of San Antonio.
Weekdays at noon on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix.
That's some serious music going on there.
It really is.
Like apocalyptic kind of stuff.
Like, dude, man, we're going to Vegas next week for our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage, brought to you by Synergenics and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Another trip to the Super Bowl that doesn't include the Dallas Cowboys, but maybe next year. And we'll get into the Pro Bowl stuff in a moment, but looking at some tweets from Clarence Hill Jr., we just got to dive right into what Clarence is tweeting about the Cowboys owner. Jerry Jones says they're going all in 2024. Quote, "We will be going all in. I would say that you will see us this coming year not build it for the future."
Well, that would be nice, and I would like to see that. And I think Jerry's thinking, I'm not getting any younger, and so maybe this whole build for the future thing just hasn't been working. But he also refused, according to Clarence Hill Jr., to commit signing Dak Prescott to an extension because he says the team is taking a holistic approach to the offseason, but offered this confusing ditty. According to Clarence, Dak has done nothing to change my mind about any promise for the future, which is basically what he says. And then I had to click on it.
He said, I think I've said
thank you.
that we'll go as far as Dak takes us in the playoffs. Remember that. We will go as far as Dak takes us. And that is how far we went. That doesn't change a thing. We'll go as far as Dak takes us. Well, that's to the first round and out. Dak is 2-5 in the postseason. I don't know, and I'm confused by this, and this is what makes the NFL offseason so damn entertaining, because we know that Dak has a $59 million cap hit next year. And he'll be a free agent at the end of the year. Dan Quinn may or may not get a job. With the news today that Ben Johnson is staying in Detroit, you would think maybe now Dan gets one of the two available jobs, either in Seattle or in Washington. But right now it looks like they're running it back the exact same way, but we're going all in. So you look at the available free agents. Are you going to overpay for a guy that is a home run hitter, or are you going to try to bring back Tyron Smith for one more year on a reduced salary? You got to pay CD. Dak, if you don't sign him to an extension, is a lot of money against the cap. And I know there's gymnastics they can do with that salary cap to create money for their guys. I don't know how you create money to go make a big splash in free agency to bring in some top-notch talent like the Rams did a couple of years ago or the Buccaneers did a couple of years ago.
Well, but I like what he's saying, and I hope that that's true. And look, Tyron Smith has been great, but if the Cowboys bring him back, that's just stupid.
Well, he is a free agent,
yes,
but they don't have a replacement for him, and the problem is,
well, you better have a replacement for him because he's not going to play the entire season.
Well, I mean, but
you're lucky to get 6-7 games out of the guy.
What did he play this year? 10, 11 out of the 17?
That's good enough?
Well, no, it's not, but follow me here. When Tyron Smith was on the field, he was still great, but he misses too many damn games. You know you're not going to get 17 games out of him. Pledge, I couldn't read whatever fingers you were just throwing up. He played 13 games.
Yeah.
Right? So he only missed 4. It felt like 40.
Wow.
But he played at such a high level. But you can't sign. I mean, he's a free agent. You can't give him big money, but you don't have a real replacement on the roster. Again, more darts to throw at the front office. Because I know Tyler Smith was drafted to replace Tyron, but he's playing so well. Are you ready to move him out? Then what are you going to do at guard? You still got to figure out what you're going to do at center. I mean, there's just so many things. I love the idea of hearing they're going all in. And in some ways, it contradicts what we heard from Stephen Jones earlier today when he was talking to the media at the Senior Bowl deal that's going on, where Stephen basically said, dude, I understand why fans are so disappointed and frustrated.
We have had 3 good years of 12-5, and we have had major disappointments in the postseason. So until we do something about it, which is go have another great year and have success in the playoffs, and, that's going to be there. I mean, there's no way they're going to, explicitly trust you until you get it done. Someone trusts Tom Brady and the Patriots that they're going to get it done? Yeah. Why? Because they did it year in and year out. Does someone trust Mahomes in Kansas City that they're going to do it? Why? Because they do it 6 years in a row. They're in the championship game. Until we compete at that level and we get the job done, then there's going to be doubt, and rightfully so.
Just to piggyback on that, how when you brought up those teams, you brought up the quarterback, which is why we always go back to
we love our quarterback. It's well documented what we think about our quarterback.
Okay.
But are you going to give him an extension?
Well,
I can love you, but I'm not going to pay you anymore.
They're going to give him an extension or restructure. They have to, right? And just kind of kick the can down the road. I don't see him playing on the final year of his contract the way it stands now, especially if you buy into what Jerry's saying about going all in. They're going to need some money for some free agents, right? But that offensive line is an issue. And then, look, there's no guarantee that somebody else is not going to offer Tyron Smith some money. Maybe they will, maybe they don't. But you better prepare to lose that guy, especially if you don't want to pay him. So the offensive line has got to be a priority. You got to find a running back. That's a priority. You need some linebackers. That's a priority. I mean, there's a lot of things that the Cowboys need to figure out how to do it. And if you want to go all in, who are the big-time free agents that you would go after? I mean, look at Buffalo. They overpaid for Von Miller. Didn't do them much good. But you look at the Rams and the Bucks, they went all in, and it worked.
Well, it's almost like Dan Campbell going for it on fourth down.
Uh-huh.
I mean, do we give Buffalo crap for overpaying Von Miller when the Cowboys wouldn't, right? The Cowboys had a chance. He wanted to be in Dallas. They weren't going to pay him that kind of money. And when we saw the dollar amount, we all thought, boy, Buffalo's stupid. It didn't work, but you give him credit for at least trying.
Yes.
And that's where like I can't wait till we get to March and free agency opens. I can't wait until the draft and see what the Cowboys do. Define for me, Jerry Jones, what all in means to you. Now, in the past, they've always been very careful and strategic. They don't like bringing in high-priced free agents because they want to draft and build and develop their own and then reward those guys. And you can control the salary on when you're going to extend them and all that kind of stuff. And, you're not – I get what the Cowboys system, but it hasn't worked in the salary cap era. So maybe you do need to go all in, and Jerry isn't getting any younger. So it's interesting when you couch it that way. But what he said about his quarterback and what you heard Steven say, I do believe there is love for Dak Prescott. But is this the first admission from Jerry Jones that maybe Dak isn't a guy that can lead us to a Super Bowl? He can lead us to a great regular season. But as he said a couple of different times and left it up to us to interpret, we're only going as far as Dak can take us.
Well, that means Dak has got to step up his game. That's what Jerry's saying. That what he's doing now in the playoffs just ain't good enough. And he's got to step up his game in the postseason. But is he capable of doing that?
Does Jerry believe he's capable of doing that?
I think Jerry would like to believe that he's capable of doing it. But I'm not sure Jerry is. Now, Steven seemed a lot more confident in Dak and or maybe just doesn't want to start a firestorm. But, I appreciate Jerry's kind of cryptic message there because
he's still angry.
Well, yeah, but on one hand, he's saying, maybe Dak's not the guy. But on the other hand, we love Dak. And so I'm not sure Jerry's trying to ride the fence when it comes to his quarterback. But they don't have anything else. And that's the problem. They've got nothing else. And if you're going to go all in, you need Dak Prescott to be your quarterback. And you've got to ride him at least one more year and see what you can do.
And just to throw it out there, this was on the socials yesterday and last night. Kirk Cousins wants $90 million guaranteed over the next 2 years. So that's 45 guaranteed per. Now the salary could be more than that, but when you look at guaranteed money, 90 over the next 2 years, that's just the going rate for quarterbacks. So when Dak, who's an MVP candidate this year, he's a finalist, coming off the season he has, when his number starts in the 50s, that's the going rate. It's how many years are you going to do that to where you could kick those salary cap whatever down the road and have it absorbed and make it a little bit more team friendly. It's going to be a very, very interesting year.
No doubt.
Dak, by the way, pulling out of the Pro Bowl today. They got an injury designation because you can't just say I'm not coming.
A lot of guys are pulling out. Nobody gives a damn about the Pro Bowl.
Well,
unless you're a young player.
Although I did see he's not injured, but he's preparing for the birth of his baby. I don't know.
Dak, is that what we're doing?
Well, that's what Clarence tweeted out.
Okay. Well, that ought to be coming pretty soon. I mean, the last time I saw a picture of his fiancée, she was ready to pop.
Yes.
Yeah, she was out there.
But we're replacing Pro Bowl quarterbacks when there's no Pro Bowl.
Baker Mayfield replaces Dak Prescott.
C.J. Stroud replaces Patrick Mahomes.
How about that?
Why? I mean, so 100 dudes this year can put they were a Pro Bowler on their resume?
Well, I guess, obviously Mahomes is busy.
Yeah.
Preparing for the Super Bowl. It was the same with, I think, Brock Purdy. Somebody is replacing him as well.
Oh.
But yeah, some of these guys, and even some of the bigger names, like, I don't know, but some of them playing the Super Bowl, some of them just don't want to play.
But you got to be injured. You can't just pull out.
I can get a doctor and say, hey, his ankle is sore, and he probably shouldn't be playing.
Mm-hmm.
You really think half of these guys are injured that are pulling out of the Pro Bowl? They've got vacation plans that don't include flag football.
Yeah, they get paid. Boy, the Spurs looked like crap last night. As good as we were feeling after Saturday night, they took a dump last night. We'll dive into that next on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, you want a much better gamble than the San Antonio Spurs? Let me send you to the Big Blind. It is the premier poker room in San Antonio. Brand new. It is upscale. It is the schwankiest place around. I'm talking about class. The bar is nice. The tables are first class. TVs all around. The food is fantastic. If you haven't been to the Big Blind yet, why not? You need to do yourself a favor and get down there and see what I'm talking about. Not only that, it is a blast. We spent a couple of hours in there the other night and just had a great time. And right now, between noon and 10 o'clock every day, the Big Blind is giving away $500 high hands every 30 minutes. $500 high hands every 30 minutes, noon to 10 p.m. You got plenty of time to get over there and get down there. And if you go hungry. Just like if you're going to the Roo Pub, go hungry because it's the same food and it is delicious. It's from the owners of the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, so you know it is going to be first class. Do yourself a favor, bring some friends, go down to the Big Blind, 281 in Redland Road. It is going to be a blast. Get in there and do it today. The Big Blind, 281 and Redland Road.
It's R&R in the morning.
Wednesday on R&R in the morning, the Spurs welcome the Orlando Magic into town for a battle of the previous two number ones.
We are inching closer and closer to Super Bowl 58, and we have some thoughts. But between now and then, the Pro Bowl, and we have some ideas on how to make it better. We start at 6 a.m. Bring coffee, bring snacks.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocation, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of 0.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The Latap Texas cycling races are back in San Antonio, April 12th to the 14th. Cyclists of all ages, register now to ride in the 100, 60, or 25-mile Tour de France amateur cycling events. You can run, walk, cycle, and celebrate all things fitness fiesta at the Athletes Village and Expo. Latap Texas. Register today at fiestafitfest.com. Presented in part by Thomas J. Henry.
Hi, it's Jason Minix from the Blitz. Guys, Synergenics can help conquer your New Year's resolutions. Do you have lack of energy, motivation, and possibly low libido? These could be caused by low T levels. At Synergenics, they exclusively specialize in testosterone treatment and make it quick and easy to get your levels checked. And at Synergenics, you will get your results back at your first visit. To book your appointment, go to fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 210-615-7777 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
The Aggies play here. This is Andy Monaco, and you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
DJ Pledgey Pledge. The hell is that? He's Joe, I'm Jason. Trying to figure out what the hell Pledge is playing.
Crazy stuff over there.
Well, it's almost like a stat that Pledge just threw up from the Associated Press. Do you have that? No? So you showed us something and we're going to talk about it and now you can't show it to us again?
Well, you two Spurs. I didn't think you were going to talk about it.
We'll get there.
I had to leave that tweet to go to the Jerry page.
Always got something.
Always something.
Always
That's good.
something.
That's good.
It was some weird tweet that no Alabama player in the history of the Super Bowl has scored a point in the Super Bowl. I find that hard to believe because the first three Super Bowl MVPs were from Alabama.
Yeah.
But apparently, while they threw touchdown passes, obviously talking about Joe Namath and Bart Starr, they I guess don't get credit.
They didn't score
for a point.
Yeah, the receiver gets credit
so
for that.
No Alabama player has ever scored in the Super Bowl.
That's crazy. And apparently, with that same article, there are no Alabama players
in this Super Bowl.
In this Super Bowl,
we got a UTSA Roadrunner who probably will not score in this game.
Well, you never know.
Unless he reports eligible.
He's going to have to do that.
Now, we've got a Texas Tech Red Raider who could end up winning MVP.
He could. He's already done that.
A couple times.
Yes.
A couple of times. You know, Coast Guard has a player that scored a point in a Super Bowl. Texas A&M Commerce has produced a Super Bowl MVP in Harvey Martin. But
well, now, according to that, I just saw it there real quick. Joe Namath did not throw a touchdown pass.
He did not?
He did not.
But he's I mean, not that I remember Super Bowl III.
Well,
but he was the Super Bowl MVP?
You just remember that because
of the guarantee?
The guarantee.
Well, and Greeny reminds us on a regular basis.
Yeah. No players on the active roster for the 49ers or the Chiefs from Alabama who finished college at Alabama. Interesting stat.
It is.
Well, I guess the Eagles are screwed.
Well, the Eagles aren't playing.
Well, I know, but now they never will get back there.
Jalen Hurts didn't get a touchdown last year on a tush push, although finished college at Alabama being the key.
Finished in Oklahoma.
That's one of those crazy stats.
See, with the portal now, you got to worry. You
Yeah.
got to try to keep track of where the hell everybody is. Very interesting.
Yeah.
For all you single guys out there, there was another interesting tweet that I saw from the Associated Press that was retweeted. The U.S. hasn't seen syphilis numbers this high since 1950. Other STD rates are down or flat.
Oh, well, there is a positive to that story. Why syphilis? Wasn't syphilis like in the 50s, 70s? I mean, it was a long time ago, wasn't
Well,
it?
we haven't seen numbers this high since 1950.
Well, there you go, the 50s. Those damn kids in the back of that car.
We just pass along the news.
That's it. That's crazy.
Be careful on your
But why? I wonder why
dating
that's
apps.
making a comeback. Syphilis.
You can read the article, man. I just saw the tweet in the headline.
Well, I'm curious.
Just be safe, boys. Be safe.
Yep.
The Spurs last night. I don't know what to make of this team.
Well, I feel like a jackass, honestly. Hey, we're getting all excited yesterday about the Spurs. And then they completely do a 360.
I don't want to say they played well for 3 quarters, but they played well for 3 quarters. The fourth quarter and in the final 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, it was like neither team wanted to win. You know, we saw a bunch of dumb basketball. Now, Greg Popovich, after the game, he didn't take any questions from the media, but he did a pretty solid job of summarizing the game in about 45 seconds.
Well, that's what I call a self-inflicted loss. I thought Washington played harder than we did. They played smarter. They executed better. We didn't have enough people playing well or playing smart, and we did that to ourselves. So I think it's a tough loss because for the first time in a while, we looked young. We looked immature. We looked foolish and did not play with each other the way we have been. So that's a disappointment. But that's the way it goes, and you move on.
That's the way it goes, and you move on. I guess you have no other choice but to move on. But as good as they looked in the fourth quarter against Minnesota, really the whole second half, I mean, it's just a complete reversal against a team that we said they should beat. And apparently, there's a lot of confidence among that Spurs team that they were going to beat the Washington Wizards.
I don't think it's got to do with expectations. I think this is not an excuse at all, but we got to get stronger mentally to get to the next game, and like a seemingly easier game than the previous one. We still need to come in with the same motivation, and I think we were maybe mentally tired because of those 2 last efforts, but we gotta get stronger because it's not acceptable.
No, it's not acceptable, and it's certainly not acceptable to call the Washington Wizards or the Detroit Pistons or anybody else in the NBA an easier game if you're wearing a San Antonio Spurs uniform.
No, I think for the record, there are 2 teams worse than the San Antonio Spurs, and they were one of them. So, by definition, but still.
So it's an easier game.
I mean,
according to the Spurs, they've done so much to convince us that there's this up-and-coming, rising young team that the Wizards, they don't belong on the same floor as us.
You know, the Wizards are so bad. Last week when the Spurs beat them, they fired their coach.
Well,
and now they got to win against them. And,
they've only won one more game than the Wizards, the Spurs.
No.
That's it.
I mean.
Well, it was 2 going into last night. Now it's 1.
Math is hard.
Well, I just, the arrogance of that comment is just baffling.
Do we give Wemby a pass when you talk about the arrogance? Because he's French, The way he speaks is a little differently. He chooses his words carefully. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know that Wemby said that in an arrogant way, right? When you read it and you hear it, tone is there, but do you give him a pass because he doesn't come across as an arrogant guy. But that was an arrogant sounding comment. Do we give him a pass because of his age?
Well, everybody's going to give him a pass because he's Wemby. So they're going to give him a pass, right? I mean, it just goes with the territory. But I'm saying, he literally, if I'm a Washington Wizard today, feeling a little bit better about myself because we got to win.
You beat a bad team.
Well, yeah. And so what he's saying basically is, we beat Minnesota. They're a good team. And we had an easier game. And we really just couldn't get mentally up for that because, they're such trash. They're just horrible. And it should have been an easier game.
They were immature.
I don't think it was related to effort at all. We played hard, but we didn't play smart. And, I think what we took from the game is we were pretty immature at times.
Pretty immature.
So, and you go back to what Pop said. First time in a while, you felt like it was a young team. And with Trey Jones at the point, they've played better basketball. They have played smarter basketball. Last night was a lot of dumb basketball by a lot of players on both sides. It's just our team was dumber than their team at times. It just felt that way. I mean, it felt like a bad JV game at times. All the good you felt after Minnesota, and could you build on it, went away one game later. I mean, especially with, they were up like 14 to a bad Wizards team.
They just could never put them away. I mean, the Spurs would get up, and then the Wiz would come back. And the Spurs could just never build on the lead and get it to where it was insurmountable. Kyle Kuzma is a big reason for that. The guy is still a hell of a player. Rob Thompson this morning, I heard him saying, but he would love for the Spurs to make a play for that guy just because of his scoring prowess. And it makes a lot of sense because the Spurs could use some, they could use a little more punch when it comes to that. I feel like that the cartoon guy that, is sitting there and he says something and all of a sudden, he's like a jackass, just got that big head that goes on. That's exactly. Because you start to buy in and all of a sudden it's like, bam. Here we go.
Here we go.
That's horrible.
Comment on the YouTube, Joe, tells you to calm down. It's not that serious.
It's not?
It is that serious.
Why is it not that serious? I want to know why.
What I find interesting, and I realize we're all fans, right? You're a fan. I'm a fan. You listening, you're fans. And with our jobs, as analysis and all that, we're still fans, right?
Right.
The other day when we were hammering this team, people all calm down. How could you say this about this person and Keldon? And, well, part of it's frustrating. Part of it, I'm watching the game and I'm not watching the game with blinders on. And this year, the expectation was so much greater than what we are getting. If they were a 20-win team at this point, a 25-win team where you saw more ups and downs, more of the roller coaster. Problem is you see a peak and then they're right back down in the valley. And then you've got this long stretch before you see another peak where you go, okay, there's the progress that I'm looking for. Now, really since we've turned the calendar, January has been a good month for the San Antonio Spurs when you're just looking at progress, not necessarily wins and losses, but are we seeing better basketball being played? Are we seeing plays being executed seemingly the right way? Are you seeing less of the bonehead, dumb, what the are you doing kind of plays? And January's been good for that until last night. And I do think, while Wemby might have said it, there was a bit of we're getting better, we're better than our record mentality, and this is a Washington team coming in that we should just roll out the ball and win. Kind of what Minnesota probably felt walking into San Antonio on Saturday night.
Could be, but Minnesota's got a little more right to feel that way, I think, than the Spurs do. I mean, it's common sense, right? Minnesota is they're atop the Western Conference standings right now. Spurs are at the bottom. There's a big difference in feeling that way. The Spurs should not be taking any team for granted. I don't care who it is, or consider it an easier game. And to me, if that's the attitude that they went in, maybe that's what Pop means by immature. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what Wemby means by immature, because we're thinking, hey, we just beat the big bad Timberwolves. The Wizards, we'll be done at halftime.
As Pop called it, a self-inflicted loss. And he was right. You know, it's not like they got beat by a better team. But their poor play is the reason they lost. And Pop seemed genuinely disgusted by what he was watching last night. And you could, I mean, he did.
Well, so was I.
Well, yeah.
Were you not?
Oh, I was. But I've been mad at Pop a lot of times this year because I just feel like, you know, not that he doesn't care. I don't want to say that because that probably wouldn't be fair. But the losses don't matter as much as long as they're learning kind of mentality. And I care about wins and losses more than sometimes I feel like Pop does. I think Pop was mad that they lost that game last night.
So we take a couple of steps forward, and then last night we take a few steps back.
No, be careful with that. We took a step forward and then 3 steps back, not a couple of steps forward.
Yeah, last night was last night was disappointing after you think that maybe, you know, things have changed and they show their immaturity. And I still don't really know what that means when it comes to basketball. Immaturity? Not being mature about basketball? Or
I don't know, Joe, in all fairness to you. If you know what that means in real life, basketball life, everyday life.
Well, I know what it means in everyday life.
I think both of us struggle with immaturity at times.
I can be very immature. I want to know how that translates to basketball in the NBA. Can somebody explain that to me?
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 on Twitter, at Joe Reinagle 210. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. So what did Tom Brady think about Dan Campbell's decisions? He had a lot to say on his podcast. We'll dive into that coming up here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're a business owner, a manager, a club leader, and you need your logo on any kind of gear, get into Sammy's Embroidery and Printing down on San Pedro. Rodeo's around the corner. You know we've got some more cold weather ahead of us. You need your company logo, your group logo, organization logo on a nice jacket, a half zip, a hoodie, a beanie. Sam will get you taken care of. His winter line is on display right now in that massive showroom. So we're about 25,000 caps in about 75 different color combinations just waiting for your logo. Even has the popular Richardson 112 style trucker caps. Sammy has all the big name brands like Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, North Face, Port Authority, to name a few. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from all kinds of industries. Nobody has better prices, and Sam is the only company in Texas that offers one-day turnaround. Call 210-824-3900, 824-3900, or better yet, go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's, or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our motto is simple. George gets justice. But what does that mean for you? It means you get an award-winning team of attorneys who will fight for everything taken from you so that you can get back to what matters in life. When we say George gets justice, it's just not a motto. It's a commitment to you. Call us at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
It's game day at Jim's house, and the spread is impressive.
Mike's already done some damage with the hot wings, and now he's dropping back and going deep for another slice of pizza.
I sure hope he brought the Pepto.
Mike knows that Pepto-Bismol provides fast 5-symptom relief from unexpected stomach upsets. He's no rookie.
The way he's throwing back those nachos, he's the GOAT.
Be ready for game day with Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children. Nothing slows my little girl down. Except a stuffy nose.
Mommy.
That's why I use Sinex Children's Saline from Vicks. Sinex instantly clears mucus in everyday stuffy little noses with a gentle, ultra-fine mist designed for kids. Just Sinex? Breathe. Her stuffy nose is gone for now. And so is she.
Sinex Children's Saline. Sinex, breathe. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Well, family, this new year is off to a great start. Everybody, how are those New Year's resolutions?
Dear, my resolution is to cut my damaged hair and just start over.
Dad, my resolution is to take better care of my skin. It's so dry. Ew.
Pops, my New Year's resolution is to work out at the gym. Go up and drink a gallon of bottled water every day.
My resolution is to take up skydiving.
Mom, you're 96.
Don't you make me get it.
Family, my resolution is to replace all our appliances that have been destroyed over the years by hard water.
Sounds like your family needs to start the new year off with installing a Connecticut water system and get a head start on all those resolutions.
This guy's making sense.
There's a reason why we say Connecticut is the last water softener you'll ever own. Call us at 656-PURE. I'll even let you try a Connecticut water system for free. We'll change your water, and it'll change your life.
The last water softener you'll ever own. ConnecticutSA.com.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The coaching carousel continues. Dan Quinn, in fact, still out there interviewing for jobs today. Well, he was in Washington interviewing for the head coaching vacancy. He's still up for that one, and the Seahawks job is still open as well. Houston Texans quarterback coach Gerard Johnson had an in-person interview today with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for their offensive coordinator position, and a lot of guys replacing a lot of guys in the Pro Bowl.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Pro Bowl's replacing a lot of guys with other guys.
Well, it's absolutely true. I'm a dude playing a dude, acting like another dude. Remember that Tropic Thunder? Love that movie.
Well
by the
done,
way.
sir.
Yes.
Well done. Yeah, Dak has been replaced in the Pro Bowl by Baker Mayfield.
Boy, so easily replaceable by Baker, huh?
Huh?
Baker Mayfield steps right in for old Dak.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got C.J. Stroud replacing Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand the replacement of Pro Bowl players when there's not an actual Pro Bowl game.
I don't understand why there's still anything resembling a flag football game or skills challenges. Is anybody, and serious question, anybody going to watch that this weekend?
Of course they will.
I'm not going to be watching it.
Well, you're going to be on an airplane.
Even if I wasn't on an airplane,
Okay.
I'm not watching it.
I mean, what else? If we weren't flying to Vegas on Sunday to get ready for our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage brought to you by Synergenics and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, if we weren't on a plane to Vegas, you bought a bed last week, so she's not going to have you bed shopping. What else would you be doing besides at home on a Sunday? I don't even know what time it is, and that's on, or an NCIS rerun. What else are you going to watch? You're going to watch
NCIS rerun. No, I'd probably be playing golf this Sunday if the weather's good.
The weather's good.
I might have to do that on Saturday.
Might have to
before we leave.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would be doing. I'd be out playing a little golf because look, and some people may be into it. And if you are, fantastic.
Garner Minshew has now been added to the Pro Bowl games.
How about that?
I don't know who he replaced, but he's replaced somebody because he's been added. And that's my problem with the Pro Bowl, right? When you hear people designate great players, all pro carries so much more weight than Pro Bowler.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's just not. And look, I kind of feel the same way about the NBA All-Star Game, although that's fun to watch because it's something for a little while, just because it's an exhibition and guys kind of doing their thing. But the home run derby in Major League Baseball, that All-Star Game, it's like, why bother?
In other words, you haven't figured out how to gamble on it yet.
No, I'm sure you can gamble on it.
You can, but you individually haven't figured out how to gamble on it.
Well, I just haven't become that big of a degenerate yet.
Okay.
Because if you're betting on an NFL Pro Bowl flag football game or NBA All-Star game, although
I want to words are important. You said degenerate yet. So give you time.
No, I mean,
give it time.
I'm sure I'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
Depends on how I do in the regular season. And I got to catch up.
I was talking to Jorge in our office earlier today. He was like, man, 8 days in Vegas and about the gambling. And I was like, I don't know how much gambling we'll actually get to do.
Yeah.
Because one, the tables are probably going to be way higher on the minimums than we're comfortable with.
Oh, they will be.
And we're busy as hell.
Yeah.
Right. But then he was like, well, when you find yourself at one of those casino gambling places that are off the strip, that aren't overly fancy, kind of seedy, and I was like, you know what, you're right. Well, there's probably one close to the house. When we're rolling into one of those dive bar casino type things that aren't real casinos on the strip, but I can go gamble there, we realize you can take yet, because I know we're degenerate enough to go do that.
Dude, you go to the El Cortez already. I mean, it doesn't get much seedier than that.
El Cortez is wonderful.
Yeah, the beer's in the ice chest behind the dealer.
Which is great. I mean, you don't have to wait for a server to come by. They're right there in a cooler.
Holy cow.
I love the El Cortez. $5 blackjack.
I would
Vince Trevino. El Cortez is the best, he says on our YouTube channel.
I would like to go to some just off the wall, little place, bar with some slot machines, maybe a couple of tables, and it'd be fun. And you're right. I would imagine there's something very close to the house.
It's like when you drive from the airport to the strip, you see those little places where you can gamble and you wonder who goes in there. That's going to be us next Wednesday night,
sure
right?
Is.
Or Sunday night.
Yes.
Or Monday night. Or Tuesday night. Or
what night's the cigar party? It won't be that night.
Thursday night.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, in all, just, because you guys are going to be along for the ride with this next week. Monday night is opening night, so we'll be at Allegiant Stadium until 10, 11 o'clock at night. Tuesday night, they generally have a hell of a party that we go to.
Party, right?
So we'll go to that. Wednesday night is generally a kind of a slow recovery night. Thursday night's the cigar party, and Friday night we'll figure out what trouble we'll get into.
Yeah, Friday's the trouble day. Friday night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So but Friday's going to be when the tables are, because that's everybody's there. Well, I think if you're going to gamble, it's going to be better earlier in the week than it is late in the week.
Well, that's true.
Just for table limits.
Well, and it's Vegas, so I'm guessing all the parties that we're at's going to have gambling options.
Yeah, you're probably
legal
right. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Aaron Litchfield on our YouTube channel says the Flamingo. And I'm wondering if he means the Flamingo Hilton, because I've been going to Vegas such a long time that the Flamingo Hilton at one time was the Bellagio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was schwanky, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
is that where Dan Cook used to
yes, and
be the mayor of the Flamingo?
That's exactly right. I used to stay at the Flamingo Hilton myself. Used to have a great steakhouse there. I don't know if they still do or not, but anyway, memories.
The old Flamingo and Dan Cook.
Yeah. I'm assuming he means the Flamingo Hilton, and I think it's still that. Lost a lot of money in that place.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's good times. Let's do the headline blitz.
All right.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. Two guys, two opinions, never enough time.
Tom Brady about to replace Greg Olson as the number one analyst.
He confirmed that today, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to him on some program, and he said he loved his new teammates.
He's making the rounds. Well, and this isn't a surprise. Maybe more of a surprise that we haven't seen it or seen clips or anything. But he's been practicing with Kevin Burkhardt, doing real NFL games. Remember when Tony Romo was coming out and he and Jim Nantz were getting together? I remember they were in a deer blind at the Hall of Fame game. You know, they go through a lot of rehearsals just to get a feel for it. So cool that he's been doing that and taking it serious, which you wouldn't expect anything less from Tom Brady. But he's been like, he was on with Pat McAfee, and I didn't hear a word this guy said on Pat McAfee because he's in his kitchen, and the dude in his kitchen has 4 ovens. What the hell does Tom Brady need with 4 ovens in one kitchen?
His chef needs them.
Well, 4, right? I'm just looking at that going, the hell's he got with what? Like if he moved a little bit, you'd get a better view of the background. I don't know, but I had no idea what he said. But on his Let's Go podcast, jumping into that analysis role, Dan Campbell rolling the dice, going for it on 4th down.
Well, the whole team's responsible. I'll say it's ultimately a team sport, and the coach makes these decisions, and you got to go execute. And my opinion differed on all those plays too. I definitely thought, the handoff there on late in the game, that was the one that I didn't understand, because you're just, unless you saw some incredible look to walk the ball in, you just can't take the chance that you're going to be stopped short and keep the clock running, because you just can't get the ball back. So that was the one that, I just said, I don't know what they're doing. And I thought it was just a flat out error. And then the other ones are judgment calls. And, that they've been aggressive all year. Obviously, when you're aggressive and it doesn't work, it comes back to bite you, and it comes back to bite him yesterday. And again, I would have taken the points. I've been in those situations. I look at them and I say, okay, this is the opportunity for you to continue to keep the pressure on the 49ers to make great plays. And you were in a good position. So, it's an aggressive coach, an aggressive mentality. I'm sure the players really wanted to go for it, when you're on the field and you feel like you let them down. But, at the same time, the coach has got to make, in his mind, the best decision to win. And obviously didn't work out for the Lions.
And he did make the best decision to win. It just didn't work out. When you got a guy not catching the football. This was a big conversation at the gym this morning.
Of course it was.
I'm telling you it was. And
Ray didn't agree with you, did he?
No, Ray didn't agree with me, but Ray's always wrong.
Always wrong.
Always wrong.
Ray's the smartest guy in that gym.
My brother is he can be a donkey about things. And
In other words, somebody disagrees with you, they're a donkey about things.
There was this poor lady that Ray was actually training, and she was an older lady. I don't know how old she is, but from Detroit originally.
Oh.
And was very sad, but sad that they lost.
Okay.
But she's in love with Dan Campbell. Thinks he's the greatest, loves how he changed the culture, loves how he's aggressive and all of that. And she said, it didn't work out this time, but I love the guy and I love what he's done to that football team. So she forgives him.
Mm-hmm. The little old lady at the gym.
The little lady at the gym from Detroit.
From Detroit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there, Tom Brady. Take that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was she 80 for Brady?
I think she could have been. I don't know. But she was.
Well, if you're calling her old.
Well, she's I would say mid-70s. I mean, I hope she's not listening because you're like, Joe, you're a real donkey. Yeah. Very nice lady, though.
Very nice.
Very nice.
She's lovely.
Yes.
In the gym, getting after it.
Yes.
With a personal trainer.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's good. You got to stay young physically.
So Ray, being the great trainer that he is working with this little old lady in her mid-70s, maybe on the low end, while arguing with you.
Oh yeah,
about sports. So he's really paying attention and giving undivided attention to that client.
No, Ray's
good for Ray.
Ray's probably one of the best trainers in that place, but he typically works with. He's a boxing guy. He's got this one young lady who's about 16 years old who looks like she's pretty good at tennis that he's helping her. So I mean, Ray's pretty smart guy.
Jack of all trades.
He is. He's pretty smart,
and
guy.
He puts up with you.
He enjoys the debate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ray enjoys the debate.
You ever feel like your workday started as soon as you walk into the gym?
Yeah, it does. Well, I got to listen to my donkey brother. He starts it off. Dan Campbell's in the. Yeah, I'm going, dude. Stop.
Your brother's right.
No, he's not.
He is.
I hate to pile on Josh Reynolds, but every time I watch that play, catch the football. Yeah. Dan Campbell's a genius then, and we're not even talking about it.
But he passed up the kick that would have made it a 3-score game.
Could have made it a 3.
Could have.
There's no guarantee he was going to make that.
There's no guarantee, just like there was no guarantee Josh Reynolds was going to catch that pass.
Well, I would trust Josh Reynolds to catch that pass more than I would trust a kicker to make a 45-yard plus field goal.
You're kidding. You are kidding. You are kidding.
So wait a minute.
A 45-yard field goal in the NFL.
It should be a chippy.
That should be a sure thing.
Josh Reynolds catches that ball 9 out of 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
So it just happened to be the one. And I would say that kicker...
except for he missed one later, so maybe 8 of 10?
The kicker probably makes that kick 9 out of 10 times.
I'd say from 45, 10 of 10.
No, he's
actually, can we look up the kicking stats for the kicker? We'll do this during the break, and we'll see what his kicking statistics were this year from between 40 and 49, because we know they will have that broken down. We'll go over that and talk about the Big 12 schedule being announced today.
Who's Texas playing?
It's just weird to look at. Coming up on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, the best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online, mybestbailbonds.com.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the Ping G430 Max 10K driver. Straighter flies farther with Ping's most forgiving driver ever made. The Max 10K. Come in today and test drive Ping's newest driver at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Visit us at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Hey, I'm Chelsea, and a little thing I like about the Chick-fil-A Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is I think it's just a perfect combination of ingredients. The pepper jack cheese and that spiciness of the sandwich. It's the right type of spice and the right amount of spice. It's crunchy on the outside, but then really tender on the inside. And then obviously the pickles on the bottom are iconic. There are too many things I like about it. I don't know if I can finish the thought.
Bring on the spice and order the Chick-fil-A Spicy Deluxe Sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
My daughter is normally a little goofball, but after a bad night's sleep, she's too tired to be anything. That's why I trust Pure Z's Kids. Pure Z's Kids is mindfully formulated just for kids. Their non-habit forming, drug-free products help my daughter fall asleep naturally, giving her the rest to be her best.
I'm a dinosaur.
Her best dinosaur.
Pure Z's Kids, for ages 4 and up when needed. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hormones can affect everything. Bad skin, bad hair, low energy, poor sleep, brain fogginess, libido, and weight gain. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health, and we take a functional approach to your hormone problems. Eating right and exercise will not be beneficial without optimal hormone function. This goes for men and women. We do state-of-the-art testing to get to the root of your hormone issues and help you get well and stay well. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health. We can help. 210-468-1891.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
On job sites, few things are more important than a solid work boot. At Boot Barn Work, we pride ourselves on knowing that no matter your trade, when there's hard work to be done, your boot should be built for non-stop protection and mobility. Thorogood checks all the boxes. Their Wear Anywhere boots are time-tested and crafted with the highest quality materials for relentless support. For job-fitted boots, Thorogood at Boot Barn Work.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Next week, our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage from Vegas, brought to you by Synergenics and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Working on scheduling players for next week. We will have next Friday Emmitt Smith on the Blitz. who always says something interesting on the Blitz out at the Super Bowl, but we'll also at 4:30 San Antonio time next Friday. You want to plan ahead. Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore will be live together. It'll be interesting to see what they're saying about this Cowboys team.
Well, yeah, but honestly, those guys are probably going to toe the line. But Emmitt Smith will give us the complete dissection of what he thinks of this Dallas Cowboys team and where they're headed and where they're going. He was spot on. In fact, last year, he got really fired up about a variety of topics, including the running back position. But he will he usually doesn't hold back.
No, that he doesn't. And what Jerry and Steven had to say today, very interesting. We'll get into that coming up in about 10 minutes. For those of you used to hearing ND Kalu at 3:30 on Tuesdays, he had some big meeting with the Rice Endowment people. I don't know.
Endowment.
So, I know. So you're writing a check or getting one.
Probably had to
we'll
write
find out.
one.
But he's going to join us at 4:30 today instead of 3:30.
Awesome.
All right. So what were the Detroit Kickers stats between 40 and 49?
Game logs. He didn't finish the season. Give me a second.
Well, he didn't finish this season. We were just looking at it. All right. And he had not missed based on what Pledge just showed us earlier when he looked at the stats from 40 to 49. Not that he had a lot of kicks from that range because Dan Campbell goes for it a lot, but he only missed 2 kicks all year, both from 50 plus. So it was a very makeable field goal.
Sure it was, of course. 45 yards should be automatic.
Should be. It's hard to keep up with college football players in today's world, right? It's even guys that were in San Antonio a couple of weeks ago for the All-American Bowl. And I did that game broadcast, and I'm like, this guy's going to go here, this guy's going to go there, this guy. And I don't know how many of them, but a bunch of them have already changed schools, right?
Yeah.
And it's just going to be that way. Well, we get the Big 12 schedule today, which their 16-team 2024 schedule just doesn't even look right. And we know it's coming, right? We know that this thing is coming, but still it does not look right. When I look at the Big 12 schedule and I don't see Texas and I don't see Oklahoma, but I do see Arizona State and Arizona and Colorado, it's Cincinnati. It's weird looking now that it's on paper.
It's weird looking, that's for sure. But it's going to be fun. Some of these matchups look pretty good. So we'll see what happens. This is college football. I think the SEC is still going to be head and shoulders above everybody else. Big 12 is going to be fun. The Big 10 is certainly going to be fun. But when you look at the amount of teams in that conference, I mean, that's incredible.
It is weird just knowing that it's coming, right? Knowing that it's coming and then seeing it. It feels different than what you were expecting, right? And if you look at some of the rivalry games, and I think the Big 12 is doing the smart thing here, some of the rivalries, some of the traditional rivalries within schools that are now Big 12, they're not playing on rivalry week because they know they'll get lost to the Big 10 or the SEC rivals.
Yeah.
So to get the national exposure, they are on different dates. Twitter, up in arms about that. That's better for the conference. The schedule seems very well thought out to maximize exposure for the new Big 12.
And they have to do something, right? You can't compete head to head with the SEC or the Big 10 for that matter. So you got to do something a little bit different. And I applaud them for doing that. It's good that they are. I don't have a problem with the super conferences. In fact, I like them. As long as they can get a handle on this other nonsense that's going on with the portals and the NILs and all the other stuff that's going on, I think college football could set up and be, look, it's always fun, but really a lot of fun, especially that SEC, Jason. There's going to be some great matchups. When you're talking about Texas playing Michigan, playing Georgia, I mean, and some of the teams that they've got, almost every week is going to have something extremely entertaining about it.
You wonder, and it won't happen because of the amount of money that's involved, but doing away with the conferences as we know them. And the idea of saying that, I know a lot of, that would never happen. Well, the old Southwest Conference went away. The Big 12 has 16 teams. Feels like the Big 10 has 48. The SEC is not all in the Southeast. So does it really matter what we call them, but getting the great matchups? Texas playing a non-conference game in Ann Arbor this year against Michigan is big time ballsy, and you don't see enough teams doing that. I can't wait and with the expanded playoff, maybe not a penalty if you lose a non-conference game early, or one that would keep you out of the postseason. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's interesting, but seeing the Big 12 schedule get released today and looking at it going, that's interesting.
Because it really looks strange.
It just doesn't feel right. And the fact that I've got a kid that goes to Arizona State, she went out there to a Pac-12 school, and now she's back in the Big 12 country. And by the way, Arizona State playing in San Marcos this year against Texas State.
How about that?
You'd have thought the Bobcats might have told people that they've got a big game like that coming up.
Well, you would think that they would say that so you could hype it up. Maybe they're waiting till they have a quarterback.
Well, I mean, it's had to have been on the schedule for a while, but kind of excited the fact that they're playing on September 14th at Texas State. Arizona State is.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I think this college football season is going to be fun. I'm excited about the expanded playoffs and all of that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a fun year in college football.
Always is.
Man, I just can't believe that there's only one game left.
Well, we got the Pro Bowl, Joe, so technically two.
Yeah. If I want to watch flag football, I'll get some guys together and we'll go play. Flag football, please.
Do you think you could play flag football right now?
Sure.
For how long?
I don't know. You didn't ask me for how long. You said, could you play? I said, yeah, I think so. I got a bad left wheel, though. It's kind of.
Here we go. Stick the golf
good
Saturday.
Arm, though. Good arm. Good arm.
So what are you going to say? You're going to be the designated quarterback?
I should be, yeah.
You just won't be able to plant?
I should be.
Roll out when somebody comes on a blitz?
I can plant because I plant on my right foot. So I'm good there.
So it's your left wheel that's bad?
It's the left knee that's a little gimpy.
Mm-hmm.
Pledge, what do we have here? This nugget that Pledge has put up on the board here. And I think you should read that, Minix, word for word.
Okay.
Out loud.
Now, I don't know who is Nate Atkins.
It doesn't matter. He sounds like a very smart dude.
Well, I mean.
Covers the Colts, he says.
Covers the Colts.
And the NFL for the Indy Star, which is the newspaper there in Indianapolis.
So we found somebody that agrees with Dan Campbell. The Lions were 15 of 20, 75% at converting 4th and 3 or fewer in the regular season, 2 of 2 in the postseason. Michael Badgley was 9 of 20, 45% in his career from 48 plus. Worst among high volume kickers in NFL history. Totally good with how Dan Campbell handled that.
Wow.
All right, but what is the kicker from 45 yards, which is where the kick was, not 48? 3 yards makes a difference.
Oh, it does make a difference. So why didn't he put that in there?
Because he's obviously looking for numbers that go with his narrative that he was good with Dan Campbell.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what that is.
Why does he have to be good with Dan Campbell? He works for Indianapolis.
Well, I mean, everybody's hammering Dan Campbell because he didn't do the right thing. So he found numbers to justify Dan Campbell. And you go with the analytics. Right? Yeah.
Which is a whole nother topic.
Well, I know you hate analytics, but that's what Dan Campbell was doing.
No.
And according to ESPN analytics, it's always go for it.
Dan Campbell, that's just his nature. And again,
maybe it's his nature because the analytics say this is what to do.
I will say just two things very quickly. Number one, Josh Reynolds catches that ball. They take another 3, 4, 5 minutes off the clock.
True.
Maybe they get 3, maybe they get 7. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
He's got to catch that ball. Mm-hmm. Number two, Detroit was still up by 14.
Mm-hmm. And if they were up 17, 3 scores, That's equivalent to the 4 or 5 minutes that you're looking for on another scoring drive.
How is that the equivalent? San Francisco's going to get the football back. They scored 2 touchdowns in 5 minutes.
Well, part of that was a fumble.
I'm just saying.
And had you kicked the field goal and still had the fumble, you're still up.
Yeah, but dude.
And then what about when you could have?
You really think so? They kicked that field goal there.
And what about when they didn't kick the field goal to tie the game up? So even if San Francisco scores again, which they did, you only needed another score to tie things up, which they did. But because they ran the ball at the 3-yard line, had to burn a timeout, they got no chance of getting the ball back.
I don't agree with that play at all there, but I think San Francisco, you got to look at it 2 different ways. They were up by 10 points. San Francisco is trying to run the clock. You let Detroit drive down. They're not worried about them scoring there. They're not. You're still up by 3, and you got no time left. You got to try and onside kick and all that kind of stuff. So
because of the bonehead play,
there's a whole different
decision
thing
to run the ball.
And we forget, San Francisco missed a field goal too early in that game.
Yeah, they did.
So
nobody forgets.
Well, apparently, facts get in the way with some of you.
The fact is they missed, and you had a chance to go up 17.
Yeah, and they still would have lost.
Just because they missed.
Because their defense couldn't stop anybody in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I know this because I had San Francisco -9 in the second half, and I won.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they kicked the field goal, I would have won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you also had San Francisco +10 in the game.
No.
Or 7.
-7.
-7.
Yeah. I did.
And lost.
And so I wasn't happy that they allowed Detroit to score there. That was a horrible decision.
Yeah. Jerry Jones has got some decisions to make. Interesting comments from the Cowboys owner. We'll dive into them next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Let's talk about Parkhurst New Vision first, though, because I tell everybody about Parkhurst New Vision now because I'm so happy with what they have done for me and my wife. And our vision, it is outstanding. Had lens replacement surgery. My results were so good that my wife, Maggie, wanted to do the same thing, and she's loving her results as well. And you're going to love it, too. Parkhurst New Vision is absolutely the best in the business. Whether you need LASIK, lens replacement, cataracts, whatever you need, Parkhurst New Vision is who you need to call. That number is 210-585-2020. You can check them out online at sanantoniolasik.com. When you call them at 210-585-2020, tell them that Joe Reinagle from the Blitz sent you down there. Then pull out your list of questions, any concerns that you have. They're going to answer each and every one and explain exactly what they're going to do step by step. Parkhurst New Vision. Let them change your life the way they've changed my family's life. 210-585-2020.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Well, family, this new year is off to a great start.
Everybody, how are those New Year's resolutions?
Dear, my resolution is to cut my damaged hair and just start over.
Dad, my resolution is to take better care of my skin. It's so dry. Ew.
Pops, my New Year's resolution is to work out at the gym. Go up and drink a gallon of bottled water every day.
My resolution is to take up skydiving.
Mom, you're 96.
Don't you make me get it.
Family, my resolution is to replace all our appliances that have been destroyed over the years by hard water.
Sounds like your family needs to start the new year off with installing a Connecticut water system and get a head start on all those resolutions.
This guy's making sense.
There's a reason why we say Connecticut is the last water softener you'll ever own. Call us at 656-PURE. I'll even let you try a Connecticut water system for free. We'll change your water, and it'll change your life.
The last water softener you'll ever own. ConnecticutSA.com.
It's the Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rind Appreciation Day celebration. Enter to win $5,000 cash, tailgating prizes, plus Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds when you pass the pigskin. Enter at porkrindappreciationday.com. That's porkrindappreciationday.com. And make sure to pick up the protein-packed, bold flavors of Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds today at H-E-B.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's. Explore the largest assortment of brands you trust, like Whirlpool, Samsung, and LG, in-store or online at the best values. Plus, take advantage of our everyday financing offers on top items, from refrigerators to laundry pairs. And there's more. Get your new appliances delivered or installed quickly at your convenience. Because Lowe's knows appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Subject to credit approval.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through divorce, custody, child support, and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
This is the home of the Aggies. This is Andrew Monaco. You're locked on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Maybe you're listening online at sasportstar.com. We certainly appreciate that. And if you're at sasportstar.com, make sure you go sign up for your chance to win some good cash money. New year, new cash. Just sign up to win $2,024.
That's always a good thing.
Yep.
$2,000
in 24.
Think we could win that before next week?
Sure.
Hey, man.
We got a little breaking news. The shocker of all shockers, Wemby, has been selected for the Rising Stars Challenge at the All-Star Game.
Wow. That is a surprise.
Shocker.
Okay. You think the NBA was going to keep him out of there?
No.
No.
We got more breaking news.
Really?
The Dallas Cowboys are going all in at next year.
All in for what? Are they playing poker? The big blind? They're going all in?
All in, baby. All in.
Wow.
We're not necessarily building with a long-term in mind.
Well, that's what Mike McCarthy probably likes since he's only got a year left on his contract. Dak Prescott may like the same thing since currently he's only got 1 year left on his contract. That matters, by the way. So I hope Jerry's right. I hope he's right. I hope they go out, try to spend some money, bring in some talent, and try to win this thing. I mean, I hope he is right. I'm just, you got to be tired as a Cowboy fan. I'm not even a Cowboy fan, and I'm tired of them building for the future, a future that is still way the hell out there.
I want to save what he said today on the 30th day of January. And when free agency begins in March and the Cowboys aren't doing anything, I'm going to replay this. Because I don't care what he says today. I want to see the actions in March when free agency begins. Because their plan has not worked.
No.
For the last 25 years. You know, since salary cap became a thing, the Cowboys haven't won a thing.
No, they haven't.
I appreciate what he has done at a business level of having a plan and making sure that you could do all of this stuff, right? And we've seen other teams, San Francisco, for example, you know, they're back in the Super Bowl, yet their latest Super Bowl trophy is older than the Cowboys. It's been a long time since the 49ers have actually hoisted the Lombardi trophy, but they've been there. But in that process, they've gone all in. Then all those bills came due, and they were bad for a couple of years, and then they got good again. And then they were bad again, and then they got good again, right? So define to me what all in is. Because their actions need to speak much louder than their words in this case.
There's no doubt about it. But it's the Cowboys way. And for Jerry to say that today, and then again to see it, you know, he's got to put his money where his mouth is, because I just don't believe it. But when you look at Jerry Jones, what is he, 81? About to be 82?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I'm Jerry Jones, I'm saying, look, I'd like to see a Super Bowl championship before I am underground.
Well, and again, you think about Jerry. Does he have a 5-year plan? And I don't say that to be mean, but I mean, if Jerry truly wants to see another championship in his lifetime, if he wants to be able to be on that stage and understand what is going on, and by all accounts, he's healthy.
He's in good shape.
His brain still works. I mean, all of that is there. And, you know, any of us, you know, that have older parents that are still with us, you understand what happens. And so, I mean, for him to understand and be a part of it, which I know is important to him, sooner rather than later, right? I don't know if you can go with a 5-year plan. And he's a gambler. Go all in. As a Cowboy fan, I'm excited about hearing that. But I'm also very reluctant to buy in, as Mike McCarthy asked us to do a couple of weeks ago, because their history doesn't tell us that's what the case. Stephen Jones earlier today was talking about how angry and upset fans are.
We have had 3 good years at 12-5, and we have had major disappointments in the postseason. So until we do something about it, which is go have another great year and have success in the playoffs, and, you know, that's going to be there. I mean, there's no way they're going to, you know, explicitly trust you until you get it done. Can someone trust Tom Brady and the Patriots that they're going to get it done? Yeah. Why? Because they did it year in and year out. Does someone trust Mahomes in Kansas City that they're going to do it? Why? Because they do it 6 years in a row. They're in the championship game. Until we compete at that level and we get the job done, then there's going to be doubt, and rightfully so.
You know, just to piggyback on that, you know how when you brought up those teams, you brought up the quarterback, which is why we always go back to
we love our quarterback. It's well documented what we think about it.
Yeah, but it's interesting that he brings up Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, those guys are on a different level than anybody else. So unless Dak Prescott is going to somehow, morph into more of that, then they're in trouble. I mean, what are they going to do? But I will say this: if Jerry's right, they're going to go all in this year. Then the best chance that they have is Dak Prescott leading that team.
I appreciate Stephen recognizing that they have lost the trust of their fan base to do the right thing.
Sure. He hears it.
Oh, he hears it.
Sure he does.
He hears it, but it's one thing to hear it. It's another to recognize and acknowledge it. I thought that was big of Stephen to say, look, man, 12 wins ain't enough.
No.
And sure, he might bring up those two quarterbacks as examples, but are there better examples out there, right? I mean, you got Dan Campbell literally saying that on the podium 20 minutes after they lose a game, we don't know if we'll ever get back here, right? You can hope so, but you don't know.
You don't.
But with a guy like Mahomes, with a guy like Tom Brady, you always felt like you had a chance. So until they go out and do it and prove it, why would we buy in? It's always, the joke is it's always next year. It's weird this year you don't feel that, even though they've had 3 years in a row of winning 12 games. Doesn't matter unless you get it done in the playoffs. Jerry understands fans being angry as well.
What I would say is, I hope it's not different going into the first playoff game where we've got the second seed. I hope it's not different at all to that point where we got the second seed. Okay, now let's talk about how we might make it different against when we play in that game and get a win. Okay, we need to stop the run better, and we need to be more physical, and we need to run better. Be specific. We need to do those kinds of things. And so my point is, I look at that, and I look at. I thought we made a pretty good move 4 years ago when we hired Mike McCarthy, and he's had some great in-season success. Now he's come up short three times and advanced us in the playoff. Okay, but I like the fact that he's hanging around the rim, and I like what the team has done to hang around the rim. So I think what the answer that I would have is that I'm aware that we're hanging around the rim. We're not getting the ball in, but we're hanging around the rim. Let's don't discount hanging around the rim and where we are right now with the players we've got. And I'm thinking about it from the whole look. The real question is I'm not doing what I was doing 30 years ago. I'm not doing what I was doing 20 years ago on a personal basis. I think about a lot of things differently. That's important because if I were doing the very same things over the last 30 years, 20 years, okay, then unless you looked at the whole report card, the report card you're seeing about winning in the playoffs, I don't like. There's some other parts of the report card that you don't have privy to that you might like.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure what Jerry said there. And hanging around the rim, are they hanging around the rim?
Well, sure. I mean,
what does that mean?
Well, they're a 12-win team.
Yeah.
I mean, so again, they're not. And nobody's happy with postseason lack of success. He said that, but they're not a bad football team. I don't know. I hear him using a basketball metaphor like that. He's hanging around the rim. Kind of feel like I'm having a Spurs conversation. Dude is 7'4". Keldon, throw it to him. Pass him the damn ball, right? But they're not getting over that hump. You can't dunk it if you're not hanging around the rim. Although I don't know that Mike McCarthy can hang around the rim.
I guess Wemby was playing for the Green Bay Packers because he swatted a lot of those things away.
It was Keldon not passing him the ball.
It was a lot of things.
That would be the analogy I would try to draw from there. And it's Jerry trying to be Jerry, trying to say something clever. And I think from a business standpoint, I saw something the other day on a business thing that I was reading. This company had a goal last year of increasing their profits by 11%. They increased by 7%. Okay. They didn't hit their goal, but their numbers are still up. Should they celebrate the fact that their numbers were up, even though they did not hit their goal? And it was interesting seeing all the different people that were responding in this deal. And I get it. You had a high goal of 11%. You didn't get there, but you still increased by 7, which was millions of dollars.
Sure.
But it wasn't the 11%. Do you celebrate the 7%, or are you angry that you didn't get to 11%? For the Cowboys, sounds like Jerry wants to partly celebrate, yeah, we had 12 wins, but we didn't get that 11% growth we were looking for because we didn't achieve a Super Bowl championship.
Well, just using your analogy, I would say that their goal was 11% and they only hit 4% because they didn't go as far this year as they did last year. So they came back, didn't they? They actually won a playoff game last year. This year they didn't, and they were at home. So I don't think the profits were quite as high this year as they were last year.
Well, I mean, if you're going to factor in inflation and all that,
sure, let's do that.
I suppose you might be right. We're way out of our lane right now talking that. But at the same time, I think Jerry wants to celebrate when he brings up the report card. They're close. They feel like they are close. But what are areas that they need to get better at? They need a real running back. Tony Pollard, that experiment, that was a failure. He's a free agent. ESPN.com has a list today of the 50 best free agents. Pollard is number 46 on that list, which tells you how great Tony Pollard is, right? They've got to be better at stopping the run. They've got to be more physical. We've been hearing that for 3 years. About being more physical.
Well, they've got to be. And they're a little undersized on the defensive line, especially when you add in a Micah Parsons, because he is undersized. They've got a lot of work to do. And I get where, you want to stay positive. I understand that. And they've got a team that can get them over the hump. When Stephen Jones uses the Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady thing, yeah, you feel like those two guys have a chance to win every year. Do you honestly believe, with what has happened over his 8-year career, that Dak Prescott, that you have any confidence that guy, as it stands, can get you over the hump?
Playoff Prescott? No.
That's what I'm saying. So what gives Jerry any optimism that this is going to happen, or they're hanging around the rim and suddenly they're going to dunk it?
Well, I mean, if you've got a better running game, Dak should be better. If you have a better defense and stopping the run, after watching Green Bay run all over them, they should be better. I mean, Dak has shown that he can't do that to this point. At some point in his career, maybe he does, and that changes the narrative. If they believe Dak is the guy that can get them over the top with the right help around him, because what we know about Dak Prescott, he ain't lifting players up in the postseason.
No.
He needs a great team around him. Patrick Mahomes, he lifts players in the biggest moments. Dak Prescott doesn't do that. Hasn't done that yet. 2-5 career playoff record, it tells you that.
Well, it's like they've got a lot of work to do. When you're talking about that, I mean, my goodness, defense, running game, offensive line. They got a lot of holes to fill going into 2024.
It's the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Marquee Dental, also known as Doctor's Implants. Yeah, I got a message for you. It's going to change your dental game in about 60 seconds. Ask you a question. You fed up with the same old dental routine? You know, those endless trips to the dentist where you're dealing with missing teeth, temporary fixes that never seem to stick? Well, Doctor's Implants is your answer. Their board-certified oral and facial surgeons are ready to transform your smile. You can say goodbye to the frustration of traditional dentistry and welcome a brighter future. Don't let old school dentistry hold you back any longer. Embrace your future with full mouth dental implants at Doctor's Implants. You can check them out at doctorsimplants.com. And here's the kicker. When you call them at 210-640-0000, tell them that Joe Reinigle from the Blitz sent you, and you're going to get a complimentary consultation and a CT scan. Your journey to a perfect smile begins at Doctor's Implants. So don't wait. Call Doctor's Implants today. That phone number to call, 210-640-0000.
It's R&R in the morning.
Wednesday on R&R in the morning, the Spurs welcome the Orlando Magic into town for a battle of the previous two number ones.
We are inching closer and closer to Super Bowl 58, and we have some thoughts. But between now and then, the Pro Bowl, and we have some ideas on how to make it better. We start at 6 a.m. Bring coffee, bring snacks.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's. Explore the largest assortment of brands you trust, like Whirlpool, Samsung, and LG, in-store or online at the best values. Plus, take advantage of our everyday financing offers on top items, from refrigerators to laundry pairs. And there's more. Get your new appliances delivered or installed quickly at your convenience. Because Lowe's knows appliances. Lowe's knows home improvement. Subject to credit approval.
At Progressive, we love sports and saving you money, so we bundled them together.
Top of the seventh, looks like a pitching change as they've set up for a corner kick. The two black belts have entered the mat, and the slider is low and away. He heads the ball to midfield. This is quite a kumite. Here comes the roundhouse. Has it got enough gas to get out of here? Unbelievable! They've bundled their home and auto insurance with Progressive. Kick savings pitch karate.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's James Spudger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative and non-surgical drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain from arthritis or injury. Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics' advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk, run, play, and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text RENEWAL to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text RENEWAL to 200-300 right now. Text the word RENEWAL to 200-300. Don't wait. Text RENEWAL to 200-300.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Think about this, Spurs fans. LeBron James in a San Antonio Spurs uniform. Well, according to Bet Online, the Spurs have the best odds to land James. if they happen to draft his son, Bronny. Now, the Spurs couldn't get it done and win their third straight last night. They fall to the Washington Wizards. They return to action tomorrow night at home against the Orlando Magic. And Ben Johnson, Detroit Lions offensive coordinator, he's staying in Detroit.
Joe Reinagel.
The third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Bronny, huh?
Bronny James. See, I don't know. I mean, in all honesty, I've been following what Bronny James is doing at USC. He's playing, but how well is he playing?
He's an NBA prospect.
Sure.
And his last name is LeBron James's kid.
Well, and it looks like you get LeBron thrown in if you draft this guy.
Like, I hear that. I'm sure there's odds and people will put their money on that. As a Spurs fan, does it excite you to think that LeBron James would wear the silver and black? I think about that. We keep saying we need veteran leaders around Wemby. Is there a better veteran leader for Wemby than LeBron? Or is there? But that would be, by definition, veteran leader. And I look at what LeBron James is doing right now at 81 years old and still in the league, playing at the level that he's playing at his age. It is incredible what LeBron is still doing night in and night out. But I see a story like that, and I just want to poo-poo it originally, and just because I think it's ridiculous. But there does seem to be a lot of truth in the fact that LeBron has done his contracts to be able to be a free agent when his son is eligible for the NBA draft. Now, that heart episode that he had, or heart attack, seems to be fine, recovered from that. So he's playing. A team will draft him, but the idea of, do you draft him to get LeBron, or do you draft him because you think he's a good prospect?
Well, he's very young, obviously, and then he's got the problem. His stats are not eye-popping at all. I mean, they're just not. He plays about 17 minutes a game, according to this. Let's see here. You look at his career stats. Points about 6 points a game. He's only averaging 2 assists, 3 rebounds. So, I mean, the stats aren't eye-popping. So, I guess my point is, just looking at this, and I haven't seen him play, obviously the potential is probably there and a lot better than what I'm looking at here. It doesn't look like a first-round draft pick to me.
Well, I mean, he will be, though. And again, it'll be interesting to see after March Madness is over and you start preparing for the NBA draft and you start looking at the lottery teams. I'm sure all the back channel workings that are going on. If you draft Bronny, do you also have to sign LeBron James? What kind of salary is LeBron James going to command? Is it going to take less to play with this kid, or is he still going to demand and command LeBron James level salary? How do you pull that off? Are you about winning, or are you about selling tickets? Because in some ways, what we went through last summer, knowing that we were getting Wemby, and our expectations were raised greatly, right?
Sure.
And we're sitting at 10 wins coming off our worst loss of the year. And we've got a lot of losses to choose from, but last night was the worst loss of the year.
It was bad. Look, I don't know, unless the kid improves tremendously. I mean, even if you get LeBron for a year, then you're stuck with Bronny. And if he's not good, he's playing in Austin.
Well, I mean, they got to sell tickets too.
Yeah, but I don't know if Bronny is that bad in a sense of
if his last name wasn't James, would he be a draftable NBA player?
I don't think
and
so.
The answer is yes.
No, looking at his stats.
You're just looking at stats.
Okay,
right?
Well, what else are we going to look at?
Well, I don't know. People that watch the games and have watched him since he was a high school player and sees the kind of player that he is. I mean, not everybody fills up a stat sheet.
But NBA people just draft a guy because, he was good in high school. Has been very good at USC.
They come out of high school, play 1 year at college, and they have an idea where they're going to be drafted in their sophomore and junior year.
Is he going to make it to that? I mean, it sounds to me like LeBron, whose contract is up after this season, like Bronny wants to come out after his freshman year.
Well, that's been the family plan for a long time.
Well, the family, look, just because his last name is James doesn't mean that he's going to be even a hair on his father's arm. I mean, honestly, it doesn't. I was going to say something else.
I know.
Would have got me fired.
Uh-huh.
But I'm just saying, I don't know that Bronny is going to be anything close to what his father is. And there's no guarantee of that. And just looking at the stats right now, and again, maybe he needs another year in college. Maybe he does. But if LeBron pulls him out because LeBron's at the end of his career and he just wants to play with his kids or his kid, I mean, maybe that doesn't do his kid any good.
Well, I mean, and see, that's it. I look at Bronny, and obviously his start in college because of the heart issue hasn't been what he was expected it to be. He probably is one that could use another year or 2 or 3 in college.
Or at the best, he spends a couple of years in Austin. I mean, so I don't know that, I don't know that this kid is all that's advertised just because his last name is James.
Well, and again, I mean, I don't think anybody expects him to be better than his dad, right? And with NIL money, maybe staying in college is better for him. And not that, your dad's a billionaire. It's not like you need money, but you want to make your own. It's like Deion Sanders' kids buying him a mansion in the mountains. Did you see that video the other day? Thought that was strange. The kids got together and bought Dad a house.
Wow.
A big ass house in the mountains with a lake. The NIL money is good if you can get it, right? But you look at Bronny just as a basketball player. If you didn't know his last name, I don't think he would be a lottery pick this year, but probably a second-round pick.
Okay. That I could live with.
And the Spurs are going to be picking high, so but would they trade up? How much manipulation in the draft process will there be by LeBron James if Bronny does come out of college early or after this year?
That's going to be the only reason anybody's going to draft him that way, if they think they can package the deal and get LeBron James, for a couple of reasons. I mean, obviously to sell tickets. LeBron James is arguably, one of the best, if not the best players to ever play the game. I think it's Michael Jordan. However, that's a topic for another.
No, it's Michael Jordan. Well, of course. Everybody else is wrong.
So, what do we mean everybody else? I think it's Michael Jordan.
Everybody who doesn't think it's Michael Jordan is wrong.
I agree with that. But I just don't know that. Do you burn a first-round pick on a kid that might not even make your roster?
We're talking about the Spurs, right?
We are talking about that.
I mean, if it's coming to San Antonio and you want to talk about first-round picks not on the roster, let's start with Luka Sandwich.
Okay.
And then you can go Josh Primo. And then I see a bunch of other first-rounders that are on this roster today that lost a crap game last night that hopefully won't be here much longer.
So you want to take a chance on a guy that may or may not play in San Antonio ever?
Well, I'm saying that would follow the Spurs MO.
Well,
and I say that half tongue in cheek, but I don't know if I'm getting LeBron as part of the deal, then maybe you do. And I'm curious how general managers are going to look at it. Now, Jack Thompson, Rob Thompson's son, Jack watches more college basketball than anybody I know.
Right.
And that includes Steve Hent. No, I'm kidding. Jack watches college basketball like nobody's business. He just texts and says, Bronny is not ready for the league right now.
And I appreciate the honest assessment, and I trust Jack's opinion, but he's not. And that's what I'm saying. So if LeBron's grand plan is to have his kid come out of school and enter the NBA draft this year, and so he can play with them, I think he's hurting his kid. I mean, and that's all ego for LeBron James.
Gets in the league and develops. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting when you look at it and you think about it, and the fact that there are odds out there, and we always say Vegas knows.
Yeah.
What do they know that we don't? That they would have the Spurs at the top of that list.
But is it all about LeBron and not his kid? Because that's what it sounds like to me. It's all an ego play by LeBron James so he can say he played with his son. I appreciate that, and I would think a lot of people would. But if you're hurting your son in the process, why do it?
You know, you think about the way the Spurs have been playing, and if LeBron were to end up in San Antonio and you had to draft Bronny to get him, at least it adds a bunch of excitement to the games. And when you think about needing to add excitement to the games, you're watching the Silver and Black. Go download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to underdogfantasy.com because that certainly makes watching the games a lot more fun. We got one more game in the football season. That's a big one. Not this Sunday, but the following. You want to make that game even more exciting? Go play the Pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy. Pick between 2 and 5 players and select whether you think those players' stats are going to be higher or lower than their predicted stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money on a single Pick'em entry. It is a fantasy game, but it is legal in Texas and a ton of fun to play. Get in the game now. Go to underdogfantasy.com or go download their app. Sign up, use my promo code STAR, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. And when you're ready for the big game, Underdog will match that first deposit. Plus, you're going to get a special pick of higher than a half total yards to use on your first Pick'em entry. Underdog Fantasy, promo code STAR. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Promo code STAR. Get signed up today at underdogfantasy.com.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
For your big game party, you better pop in to Total Wine and More for a guaranteed win. We've got thousands of bottles down every aisle, and prices so low they're gonna make you smile. Ask our helpful guides for a recommendation to add some spirits and wine to your beverage station. Discover something new and let the fun begin. Come on down to Total Wine and More for a guaranteed win.
Drink responsibly, B21.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-350-6946 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-350-6946. That's 800-350-6946. What do you have to lose? Call 800-350-6946. Again, 800-350-6946.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text RENEWAL to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text RENEWAL to 200-300 right now. Text the word RENEWAL to 200-300. Don't wait. Text RENEWAL to 200-300.
Jason Minix here. Guys, your testosterone levels start to decline in your 30s. If you're feeling a lack of energy and drive, it could be caused by low T. Get your levels tested at Synergenics. They make it quick and easy, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll get your results back at your first visit. At Synergenics, you will get customized care from testosterone specialists. Conquer your New Year's resolutions. Go to fixmylowt.com to book online. That's fixmylowt.com.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Spurs were just awful to watch last night.
It was really bad.
And if you find yourself in that position, because I know it's that time of year, and I just saw something on Twitter about it, which made me think about it. Masters of the Air is a new series on Apple. B-17 pilots. The first 2 episodes are out, and it's going to have new episodes dropping every Friday, I think, is what they said at the end of it.
Okay.
Fantastic. Especially if you like history, the attention to detail, the stories. Those 2 episodes that I watched the other day were incredible. That was good. That was good television. So if you're looking for something to watch, Masters of the Air on Apple. The Spurs are becoming masters of the air ball with what we've seen last night. That was an awful game. And the fact that we've got more people on the phone wanting to talk about Bronny than what we saw last night is, I think, a pathetic state yet accurate state of where the Spurs are right now. Chris, you're on the Blitz. What's going on, man?
Yeah, real quick. So first off, like you're saying about last night's game, Keldon Johnson unable to play in crunch time, turnovers and defensive lapses. That's a problem. But this year's draft is pretty weak, and with the Spurs possibly having 2 real lottery picks, I don't see why not take the chance to get Bronny if you're going to get LeBron James if he signs because of Bronny, and then maybe in the free agency another veteran to help Wemby and help Pop try to get these kids to learn how to play better basketball. So I don't see it being a risk to get Bronny in the draft. I'll let you go ahead and hear your thoughts.
All right, brother. Well, look, I just think that it depends, right? It depends. So how long is LeBron going to hang around? Would he sign a multiple-year deal? How much would that cost? All of that stuff. Are you willing to take the chance? Because just what I look from Bronny, it looks like, and I refer to Jack Thompson, who texted Minix a minute ago and said he's not ready. I'll take his word for it, which means he would spend a couple of years in Austin. I just don't know. I mean, it seems to me that to get LeBron in here at what cost, at whatever, you're really wasting a draft pick.
Well, I mean, you look at like Trey Jones is a second-round guy.
Sure.
He's turned into a solid backup point guard that is starting for the San Antonio Spurs. Now, if I go back to what was his name, Chris, if we end up with 2 lottery picks, I'm not using a lottery pick on Bronny to get a 40-year-old LeBron James. But if I've got a pick in the 20s, why not? Do I have to take him in the first round? Is it a second-round pick? Does every general manager know that if you take Bronny, you are signing LeBron James, and he's already given a list of the teams that he'll sign for? If it's a second-round pick, who gives a damn?
Well, I mean, if that's the case, but you better make sure LeBron is part of the package before that happens.
I think it would have to be. I mean, I think the word collusion or whatever the legal terminology for that is would have to be there. I don't know. And again, damn it, these gambling sites that have put the Spurs as the favorites to land the two, because now we're having to discuss it. And it feels like it is so pie in the sky, yet it probably could happen. I would not use a lottery pick on Bronny James next year. A late first-round pick, a second-round pick, and you get a LeBron James. I also want to know, what is LeBron James going to cost me? How do we know that they don't already have a deal worked out to where he's going to be a Laker, right?
Well, it's his option. I'm looking at his contract.
It's his option.
Right, it's his option. But right now, his base salary is $47 million. Okay, that's what he's making. Next year would be $51 million if he stays with the Lakers. Would he come down on that? And why would he?
Well, no. Well, I mean, it's his option.
Well,
I'm
talking about going somewhere else to play with his son.
I just think the Lakers end up drafting him. He gets on the phone. Hey, Jeannie. Yeah, I know. We're going to take him. Don't worry.
Well, he already lives in L.A.
I mean, yeah, he's got a house.
Yeah.
He's already there. You know, do we have to put up his number by the in-season tournament championship banner now or later? All right, Bron. Gotcha. I mean, part of me doesn't know. I don't want to say I don't know. I don't feel like LeBron would go anywhere. Although $47 million goes a lot farther in San Antonio than it does in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but LeBron James doesn't seem like a San Antonio guy to me. And would Pop want that? I mean, sincerely, would Pop want that? I don't know. I know Pop likes LeBron. They respect each other. And I think that's kind of LeBron's deal, is he'd like for Bronny to play with Pop, at least early on. So, I mean, all of those things factor in. I don't know. I want to see a rebuild and a revamp. I don't want to see a 40-year-old LeBron James come in here.
I look at LeBron being a San Antonio guy. The answer to that could be yes, right? You don't see, rarely do you see a picture of his wife. You don't see him out at the club. You don't see him out looking for the nightlife. You don't hear negative stories about LeBron.
No.
He's
a billionaire.
Well, he's a billionaire,
He's
but
got a lot of business stuff going on.
So he's busy.
Yeah.
And everything that he needs is at his house, right? Yeah. I mean, he lives in Los Angeles, and rarely do you see him showing up on TMZ, walking out of a club or a fancy restaurant. I could easily see him fitting in San Antonio. You know, because all the stuff that LA offers, other than, you know, a house with a oceanfront property, if he even has that, I have no idea.
Yeah, but you got LeBron James, a billionaire. If he wants to rent out a restaurant where you're not going to see, he could probably do that. Or he's probably got a chef at his house.
Sure. He does Taco Tuesday.
All of that stuff, right? I mean, so he
might have 4 ovens like Tom Brady.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. He could have as many ovens as he wants. It just seems, if Bronny was a better prospect, maybe, because then you could say, hey, all right, LeBron's here for a year or two, and then you move on. You've still got Bronny James in the fold. Look, Wemby, what the Spurs need to concentrate on, in my mind, is that you want to keep Wemby around for a while. And so I think you have to build a championship team around him. You bring in LeBron, if he doesn't take a pay cut, he's going to command $40 million. And I just would rather see this team build, get some veterans in here that aren't going to break the bank, but that are going to play. And Rob Thompson, again this morning, mentioned Kyle Kuzma, a guy like that, who the Spurs had a great deal of interest in at one time. You know, I would like to see them build that way, to bring in a gimmick, in my mind, which is what it would be. I'm not here for it.
I agree with everything that you said, although if LeBron desires to play with his son, and I do think because of his personal relationship with Pop, he would love to play for Pop. And like you said, have Bronny play for Pop. Wemby, he grew up with Tony Parker and LeBron posters, right? So I don't know, veteran leadership, and LeBron is still playing at such a high level. Spurs have plenty of money in the bank. It would be short term, not long term. And you still, because there's people on this team that aren't going to be here, that have big contracts like Keldon, that need to go, especially after what we saw last night.
You think he's going to go?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We'll see.
And I love Keldon. I think he's a
Uh-huh.
great kid. I'm ready to be off my basketball team. I'm ready for him to be off the basketball team. Last night was disgusting.
Well, there's a lot of guys that I would like to see off. That's why I would like to see a complete. If we're going through a rebuild, as people like to tell me, then let's rebuild with some players that you can actually see being on this team for a while and building with. And if nobody thinks Keldon Johnson is that, if nobody thinks that Zach Collins, for example, who's been really a disaster this year after signing his contract, then let's get some guys in here that you can actually build a team with to go along with Victor Wembanyama. Not a LeBron James who's going to come in here and the only reason is to play with his kid who won't play. Think about that. Because if Greg Popovich is still the Greg Popovich I know, or any semblance of that, guess where Bronny's going to be?
In Austin?
Yes. So is LeBron going to play in the G League?
No, but they'll get to practice together.
Oh, when?
Get in the car and
go
up 35.
Training camp?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's not who we are. Yeah.
We got a pair of tickets to go see Neil McCoy. Do you know Neil
rodeo.
McCoy?
Sure do.
All right. He's going to be playing at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo on February 12th. You want to win tickets? Be caller number 10 right now. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Caller number 12, you get tickets to go see Neil McCoy, baby. I'm sure it's going to be a good show.
Oh, it's going to be a great show.
Can you name a Neil McCoy song?
No.
Me neither.
But I can't name.
You're a country guy.
Title of songs are not my thing. Now, if you play a little, you tap my foot, whistle along.
Neil McCoy, caller 10, 210-656-ESPN. ND Kalu joins us next here on The Blitz.
Stevens Roofing. It is the one name in roofing that stands high above the rest. Stevens Roofing, they are the best in the business. We've had the storms. There was some hail. I know there's more storms coming. We got Groundhog Day coming up here in a couple of days, and you're going to know if the weather's going to be bad for another 6 weeks or not. You need to get that roof checked out. Have Stevens Roofing do it. Get them out there. Have them check your roof out. Make sure that everything is okay before those spring storms arrive. A quality roof overhead by Stevens Roofing certainly means a lot of things. It means comfort, confidence, and peace of mind, protection for all of the things that you love. When you're in the market for repairs or replacement roof, an upgrade, Stevens Roofing is the company you want to deal with. Been in business for a long time. They're not going anywhere. They stand behind their work. Call Stevens Roofing today, 210-785-0994. You can also get them online at stevensroofing.net, but call them. You owe it to yourself to make sure that roof is in tip-top shape. 210-785-0994.
It's R&R in the morning.
Wednesday on R&R in the morning, the Spurs welcome the Orlando Magic into town for a battle of the previous two number ones.
We are inching closer and closer to Super Bowl 58, and we have some thoughts. But between now and then, the Pro Bowl, and we have some ideas on how to make it better. We start at 6 a.m. Bring coffee, bring snacks.
It's your wake-up call. R&R in the morning, 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocate. Real solution.
QC Kinetics patient Robert Patterson, a veteran and business owner, struggled at work and in the gym with chronic agonizing shoulder pain.
Those injuries just continue to nag, and if you don't treat them, they just get worse. And I just kind of abused my body for a long time, and it finally had said enough is enough.
That's okay, because QC Kinetics tells your pain, hey, enough is enough. Their regenerative treatments bring you relief by helping restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and best of all, no surgery.
I was able to exceed the goals that I had previously attained in the gym. It was absolutely worth its weight in gold, so I could continue to live life without limitation.
Ready to get lasting relief from your joint pain? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments can get you lasting results. Call now. It's a free consultation.
210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open with a true Vegas feel. The Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Rue Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Hey, Jess, want to come for a ride on my motorcycle? You know, we can talk about our feelings and explore our emotional compatibility.
I thought you'd never ask.
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive, and you could use the savings to make sure the motorcycle is always ready for your dream girl. So keep the dream alive and the savings coming with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Cowboys play here. 94.1 Sports Star.
And Blitz, did you drop that in just for ND Kalu? Cowboys play here. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jay Semenix. ND Kalu joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Texted me earlier, said, man, I've got a meeting. Can we, I might be late at 3:30. Can we do 4:30? Because you were meeting with the Rice Endowment Board. Does that mean you had to write a big check?
No, I'm hoping that they write the big check. So we'll see how that went. But this is one of the few times they're not asking me for a check. I'm asking them for one.
Nice. Wow. So Rice gives alumni money back sometimes?
Yeah, well, so we have a real estate fund, and we've been raising money with individuals, and now we're to the point where we're trying to get that institutional money. So what better place to start with than the greatest institution in the world, Rice University. So we'll see. So it went pretty well. Enjoyed the feedback, but these are a long process. So I'm glad to be talking football and getting back to the real world. With
yeah, absolutely. The crunch of numbers can get to be a pain in the ass, right?
Yes, they can. Trust me, I'm not doing any crunching. I'm letting the smart people do all the crunching.
Well, you surround yourself with a bunch of Rice guys that go back and ask Rice for money. Like, they're not going to tell you guys no, right?
Of course not.
You know what, they might, because actually, and I don't want to bore y'all with the details, he hinted that what we were asking for wasn't enough for what they like with their returns. And I was like, well, shoot, give us more than I said, give us what you're comfortable giving us with if what we're asking isn't enough.
If the endowment is so big, you're not asking enough.
It's Rice University. Come on.
Yeah, so, but it was a cool experience. That was actually the first time I was a part of a pitch to an institution that large. So, if anything, it was just a cool learning experience.
Well, I think we heard there's, which is the lesson to all of us: ask for big, because you never know.
Look, that's the one thing I walked away knowing. So next time when I go to Joe's alma mater, Texas State, I'm going to ask for like $30 million.
$30 million. $30, my friend.
I mean, we're talking Texas State versus Rice. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, essentially, you guys would have kicked the field goal on fourth down from 45 yards out instead of going for it on 4th and 3 and throwing it to Josh Reynolds.
Wait, what? Say that again?
So you guys didn't ask for enough. Like you would have settled for the
field
goal.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
I
Yeah.
figured you being a Rice guy, that wouldn't have gone right over your head like you did, but you dropped it like Josh Reynolds.
No. When I hear Josh Reynolds, I think John Jay Mustangs. I forgot. You're talking about what he did as a Detroit Lion. See, because I'm so San Antonio. When I think of him, I think of John Jay first.
There you go. But your Marshall Ram is showing.
I'll take that. I deserve that one.
What were your thoughts on Dan Campbell's decision making in that moment?
You know what? One of those deals where if it works, what are we saying? We're celebrating and he's so gutsy, but I think at that point you got to go with the numbers, go with the analytics, and go with the obvious. Go with the obvious choice.
ND. I'm really surprised because I thought you were a risk taker. I like the.
He didn't ask for enough money from Rice,
and they did the play. The play was there. It was there. Reynolds dropped the ball. And I know that can happen, but the field goal kicker could have missed the kick too.
You know what? And I'm not. I tell you the truth. I'm actually not a big risk taker when it comes to play calling, because I find myself when I'm watching these games. If you're within the red zone and it's like 4th and 2, I'm the guy who says, man, just kick it, get your points, and let's move on. In that situation, especially regular season, maybe, but with that scenario, no, get the points.
Who would have thought ND on the side of a kicker?
Well, I understand what they do. I still don't consider them football players. They're on football teams, but if you must have them on a football team, then yeah, might as well utilize them and get those 3 points.
Well, what is the difference maker in your mind? You think about all your years in the NFL, and there are times to go for it and be risky, and times to make the smart football decision. You're in a championship game. You get a chance to go up 3 scores. Do you, at that point, in the moment, because hindsight being what it is, so what we talked about some yesterday, in the moment, before the 4th down play was run and failed, what were you thinking? I was screaming at my television to kick it, not go for it. What, excuse me, what were you thinking in the moment?
No, I was thinking the same thing you were thinking. I know you're getting choked up because we finally agree on something, but I was
just
actually
doesn't happen enough.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I wish I could tell you something different, because I never like radio where 2 guys, and I like that Joe doesn't agree with us, where we're just saying I agree. But no, I'm with you, and like we all saw that it could have worked, and if it did, and if Josh Reynolds makes a big play or makes the play, we're over here saying Dan Campbell's aggressive. That's his style, and that's why they probably could have won the game. And I don't know. I'm not with the way San Francisco came back, the way they played, the way Brock Purdy made some plays with his legs. Christian McCaffrey, the best NFL running back in the game right now. I just felt like it was San Francisco's half. Obviously, it wasn't their game. Who's to say that they wouldn't have found a way to come back from that? But I get it. I appreciate it. I would never say anything negative about that decision. But in that scenario, when you're up the way you're up, I just take the field goal.
Well, Indy, I'm curious because you brought it up with San Francisco, a bad first half. They didn't play well. Detroit dominated them in the first half, and then San Francisco comes back. 2 games in a row that, quite frankly, they should have lost both, but they found a way to get it done. What is your impression of the San Francisco 49ers?
I don't believe in the whole should have lost. If you should have lost, you would have lost.
Okay.
I thought going into that game that the San Francisco 49ers, I thought it was going to be a blowout, and I was wrong. But the way that first half, even at halftime, and I'm not saying this because hindsight's 20/20 and it's obvious the way it turned out, but even at halftime, and I was rooting for the Detroit Lions because I love that story. So let's put that out there. I didn't feel comfortable or confident saying, "Oh, this game is over. The Lions are going to win." So my long answer to your question is that I feel like the best team finally started to play like the best team in the second half. I don't know why they started the game the way they started. I don't know why. They were able. Their defense did not look like the defense who has the best linebacker in the game during that first half. So I don't know what happened during the first half, but I feel like the best team on the field actually showed up in the second half.
Absolutely. ND Kalu joining us here on the Blitz. You talk about the first time he went for it and kicked the field goal, or went for it, did not kick the field goal. The second time they went for it and could have tied the game up. Was that a worse decision by Dan Campbell?
Ooh, was it worse?
It would have been a longer kick, but it would have at least tied the game.
No, I remember, and I still have to go with the first one. I still have to go with the first one because just like you mentioned, with it being a longer kick to tie up, but I feel like the momentum, didn't it feel like the momentum shift and San Francisco felt like, you know what, we actually truly do have a chance. And I feel like the first time, that was the one that, where even myself, I was like, oh, that's it. Like, I just knew at that point San Francisco was going to take the game.
I tell you what, and I wouldn't count them out. And then you've got on the flip side, you've got Patrick Mahomes, who I don't know how else to describe this guy, ND, other than just a magician. The guy is on another level from every other quarterback in the NFL right now.
I'm 100% with you. It's almost a shame that Irvin Magic Johnson has the nickname Magic because I'm with you. It fits Mahomes with some of the things he does, and not even the biggest plays as far as yards, just the way he's able to get out of trouble. He's not the most athletic guy. Like, when he runs, you're not thinking to yourself like, oh, that's a light-skinned Lamar Jackson. I mean, when he runs, it's like, that dude is not fast, but he just knows what gaps to hit with his legs. He knows how to extend plays. He knows that if the play isn't there with his arm, he can pick up 6-7 yards with his legs. But I'm with you. He's a magician. He makes it fun. And this was remember, this was a quote-unquote down year for Patrick Mahomes. But when you watch him play, you throw the stats out and you just appreciate his magic. Magic Mahomes. Patrick Magic Mahomes.
I like it.
Yeah, there you go. ND Kalu, the nickname giver here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You bring up Lamar Jackson. Once again comes up short in a playoff game and didn't play well. Ryan Eagle calls him Dak Jr. What is it about Lamar Jackson in the playoffs? Is it the same syndrome that Dak suffers from?
You know what? As much as I want to say it's not just Lamar, it's the team, but Lamar Jackson is an MVP player. He's the MVP, probably going to win it this year. And to play the way he did in the playoffs, that's where, as an MVP, we're supposed to be talking about Lamar Jackson the same way we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, where he just puts the team on his shoulders. What I watch, and I don't know if y'all noticed it still feels like Lamar's trying to prove to somebody that he doesn't have to rely on his legs, where I wanted to see him do what he did against the Texans in the second half, where he said, screw it. If I got to use my legs to win this game, to be successful, that's what I'm going to do. But it almost feels like he has this internal battle. Like he has the angel on the left shoulder, the devil on the right shoulder, and the devil's the one telling him to use his legs. Hey, come on, man, live down to the stereotype and use your legs. And he's like, no, I'm going to show everybody that I'm not the stereotypical black quarterback, and I'm going to use my arm. I'm like, hell no, it doesn't matter. It's the playoffs. Use whatever you got to use to get into the freaking end zone and to carry your team. And it just feels like when I'm watching him, I feel like I'm watching that internal battle with himself that he wants to prove that he's the typical quarterback in the pocket.
ND, I think what surprised me the most, and for the record, I love Lamar Jackson. I've loved him in college, in the pros. I love how he plays, and I think he's fantastic. What I saw on Sunday, though, was he seems to get really frustrated really quickly, and it seems to just throw everything out of kilter. And the entire Baltimore team, in my mind, was a little bit undisciplined to begin with.
Oh, that's Zay Flowers. He's only a rookie. He's going to have an awesome career. But look, I'm a guy that likes to mix it up. I like a fight here or there. But as soon as I saw when he made that awesome play, then he stood over the defender and spun the ball. Even as a guy who likes kind of, seeing certain things, certain fights, I was like, okay, that was stupid. Here comes the flag. And then there was a couple of times where Lamar, it looked like he was defending his player, but I expect my quarterbacks to have a certain cool about them. I expect my quarterbacks to be above certain scenarios. And I think the reason why his teammates love him the way he does, because he doesn't put himself on that pedestal, and, he's a player's player, and he can hang with the 53rd guy on the roster as well as the number one guy on the roster. But there are certain times where I feel like, no, I need my quarterback to be a little more Joe Cool and carry himself in a different manner when things get rough and tough. And you just didn't see that from him, from throwing down his helmet the way he did after that horrible interception to arguing with the refs when he didn't like the calls going against his teammates.
ND Kalu joining us here on the Blitz, member of the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame. Patton F. Middle School, Marshall High School. Rice, you're a smart guy, right?
Patton F. How are my Texans doing?
We're not asking about
did y'all
that.
know the Patton F? Did y'all know they were called the Texans?
I
the
did
Patton
not.
F Texans?
No. You once a Texan, always a Texan?
Always a Texan, yeah.
Wow.
That's where it started and where it ended.
There you go. CJ Stroud, he replaces Patrick Mahomes in the Pro Bowl. Why, and I got to ask a Rice guy this, why when there's no Pro Bowl game do they name Pro Bowl replacements?
For the silly activities that they have them all playing and conducting. I mean, look, they were smart to get rid of the Pro Bowl game, but it's almost like if they said, hey, you think we could do worse than the Pro Bowl game? Hold my beer, watch this. We're going to go play dodgeball. And I guess just to have participants in, look, it's really just a weekend for a bunch of great players to all pat themselves on the back and say, oh, we're the studs of the NFL. But I have not watched one Pro Bowl event. I don't even know what it's called now, since they switched the format, and the games got so bad. The last Pro Bowl I actually watched was when Mario Williams was invited and he took the entire defensive line to Hawaii. And that game was horrible. But I figured since he paid for the flight, nice. I was like, I might as well.
Oh, and not saying this to sound knocky, you never made a Pro Bowl, but you went to Pro Bowl festivities with your teammates.
Oh yeah, you can say it. I'm not ashamed of my mediocre career. Yeah, I never made a Pro Bowl.
He played in the league over 10 years. He made 0 Pro Bowls. He is a member, though, of the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame. Our non-time Pro Bowl guest, ND Kalu.
Look, I don't need you to humble me. One of my cousins came in from Nigeria, and I was teaching him about football. And it was after I retired, and he was some math whiz. He was like 6 at the time, and I was all, yeah, I played 12 years in the NFL. And then he was all, and you had 34 sacks, and I was like, yeah. And he was all, oh, so you only average like 3-point-something sacks a year? And I was like, well, damn, when you say it like that. So yes,
wait a minute.
I've been humbled a long time.
Wait a minute. You had 34 sacks in your career?
Something like that, yeah. And I had to tell him, like, well, keep in mind, T-Day, my first year I didn't play that much. My second year I got hurt. Then I had a torn ACL, and he was like, oh, okay, so it's 4 sacks a year. Whoop-de-doo. So.
Right. I'm going to give him some props, though. I mean, well, everybody's bringing him down here. You did play, 10 years?
12
years. I mean, you got to be doing something right, ND.
I'm okay. I mean, I'm not depressed anymore. I don't think about the sack total. I just think about the number of years, just like you said.
You were a disruptor. That's what you were.
Yeah, there you go. You go. I had a lot of pressure.
Yes.
I was there for the pressure.
According to Wikipedia.
Uh-huh.
According to Wikipedia, when you put in ND.
No, first of all, that's a lie because I know it's probably going to. You know what pisses me off about that? 1 year, and Jim Johnson, our very hard-nosed defensive coordinator, may his beautiful soul rest in peace. 1 year, now 1 out of the 12, I kicked ass when it came to tackles. I had like 74 tackles, led all D linemen, and then the stat sheet said I had 47. And Jim like even laughed. Like he came into my locker and he kind of slid it to me and kind of just laughed. But because they kept their own stats.
Well,
so it probably, what did it say? I had 12 sacks.
Wikipedia credits you with 31 sacks, 193 tackles, 4 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries, an interception, and 1 defensive touchdown.
I'm suing somebody. I need my sacks. Look, it's bad enough I only had 34. Now they're trying to say it was 31.
Yeah, they're not trying to. Literally, it's right there on the page.
Well, Wikipedia. Yeah, okay.
Well,
who put that information together?
Yeah,
who put that info together?
I don't know. I mean, you probably edited it yourself.
Ooh, I heard you could do that.
You can.
You know what? If a listener can go in there and put like 70, I'm paying $100. Yeah, I'll pay $1. I'll pay $1 a sack for whatever they could get it to say.
I'm just impressed you had an interception
and a touchdown.
You know what's cool about that? I was playing for Philly, so I was drafted by Philly, played a year, got cut. Then Washington picked me up. I played 3 years. Then I was a free agent. I went back to Philly for 5 years. So that interception was against Washington. So that was kind of cool because it was against all my boys.
Who was the quarterback?
You know what? Most of my big players are against trash quarterbacks. Even if I said their name,
34
y'all wouldn't even. Yeah, it was like AJ Steely's of the world.
You still have the ball, though, don't you?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, and guess who it was when I told my son, oh, this is when I sacked Tom Brady. He's not going to check.
Who was your defensive touchdown against?
Washington.
Oh, so you intercepted it and returned it for a touchdown?
Oh, yes.
Wow, pick 6.
Yeah, that was in today's game, it might not have been a touchdown because if you watch the replay, I think like I was down at like the 1-inch line, but thank God they didn't have replay back in the 90s
or HD television. So it was clearly. So when you go edit your Wikipedia, because there's not a lot written about you. It's actually kind of a pathetic page. You should add that in. Some of your incredible things you did in high school, you should add that in. I think about the resume and the write-ups that we had for the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame induction. You need that on your Wikipedia page.
So the 7-foot high jump's not in there?
No.
Oh, man.
No,
yeah,
actually, it is. Your early years, Kalu attended Patton F. Middle School and John Marshall High School in San Antonio, graduating in 1993. He holds the record in high jump for the Rams at 7 foot 0 inches. That's all it says.
For the district.
It says for the Rams, right?
Wow.
Professional career, it's got 3 sentences.
Wow. 3 sentences.
You know what's good about that, though? When I look up some people, when I used to do the radio, some of these Wikipedia pages, they tell too much. Like, I was like, oh, man, I didn't know you beat your wife. Like, so there's certain things that.
Well, hey, Wikipedia also says you still host a show called In the Trenches. So, I mean, you need to update that, man. Go edit.
It's been a year.
Go edit.
I'm going to go check that out. I'm going to see how to do that.
Indeed. Have fun, man.
Thanks, ND.
All right, talk to y'all next week.
All right, good stuff.
All right.
ND Kalu on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com. He's the best.
He's great. He really is. Oh, man. Well, he's feeling humble today. That's for sure.
He is now.
Yeah, he is now.
He is now. Ben Johnson has removed his name from consideration for the 2 head coaching jobs still available. What does that mean for Dan Quinn? We'll dive into that coming up next here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Although if you're dealing with any kind of injuries, you want to make sure you skip the ER and get straight to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocation, sprains, strains, conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday. They have on-site x-ray casting and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, but best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. So if you're injured, get to an Ortho Now Injury Clinic. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text Renewal to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text Renewal to 200-300 right now. Text the word Renewal to 200-300. Don't wait, text Renewal to 200-300.
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax. Touchdown! A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax. 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Show your love this Valentine's with exquisite fashion jewelry from Diamonds Direct and save an extra 20%. Now through Valentine's, all fashion favorites at Diamonds Direct are on sale. All earrings, all bracelets, all necklaces, stackable bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and more. Lots of romantic and timeless gifts for under $500. Special financing available too. Don't miss this. An extra 20% savings on all fashion jewelry favorites at Diamonds Direct. Shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, Victor Wembanyama will be at the NBA All-Star Game. He'll be competing in the Rising Stars game. Spurs, though, they couldn't win their third straight last night. They fall to the Washington Wizards. They return to action tomorrow night against the Orlando Magic. Ben Johnson, Detroit's offensive coordinator, he's not going anywhere. He's removed his name from head coaching considerations. Dan Quinn, though, well, he interviewed with the Washington Commanders again today.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
You made it on a Tuesday. If you get off at 5, you're done. Congratulations.
Congrats. Glad you're off work.
Yeah.
Glad you're listening.
Hopefully stuck in traffic listening to us.
Exactly. Exactly. I saw something on Twitter, bad wreck on I-10.
Oh, no.
Hate that.
I do too.
Yeah, that sucks. Next week, we'll be in Vegas. Our AA Best Bail Bonds radio road coverage, powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and Synergenics, all next week. Rob and RJ in the morning, the Blitz in the afternoon. And maybe by next week, we'll know if Dan Quinn is still in Dallas or not. It just feels like Washington and Seattle are taking forever to hire a new coach.
Well, I wonder, because all the rumors were that Ben Johnson was headed for Washington and that was the deal. And then you hear all the insiders today say he's got unfinished business in Detroit. But there were some others that were saying he just wanted too much money. So I saw one report saying he was wanting upwards of $15 million per year.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah, might as well, right?
I mean, you look at it, and I just kind of come back to Dan Quinn, right? I feel like if Dan Quinn was going to Seattle, he would already have that job.
It seems like it.
They know Dan Quinn, unless everybody else has told him no. I mean, Josina Anderson says Ben's asking for $15 million. God bless him. He's staying in Detroit.
Yep.
Dan Quinn's apparently in Washington right now, interviewing again with those guys. Dan Quinn's clearly nobody's first choice. Otherwise, he would have a job.
Yeah.
Maybe not second, third, or fourth, but he might end up with the job. The question for Cowboy fans, are we hoping that he gets the job at this point? Just because the way last year ended. But I warn you, because I'm kind of with you, but I'm kind of not. When I hear Ron Rivera as the potential replacement, I don't know if that excites me at all. Even though I like Ron Rivera, and last time he was a coordinator, he was a hell of a coordinator. He did well in Carolina. I don't think he really had a fair shot in Washington because that was just such a poorly run organization. But that doesn't excite me. If you're going to replace a guy, you want to replace him with somebody better. We did that with Dan Quinn. Boy, we brought in Dan Quinn. Remember the excitement level that Dan Quinn's coming in? We got rid of this guy who didn't want TJ Watt because of body size. Are you kidding me? You went Taco, get out, right? And we got Dan Quinn. We thought we were getting the Legion of Boom. And in all fairness to Dan Quinn, we've had really good defenses under DQ since he has been the coordinator. But
it just didn't end well this year.
Well, it didn't end well, and it looked like that ship run aground in December.
Yeah, the defense struggled toward the end of the season, and I think that's why a lot of people aren't excited about Quinn. Look, I'm not. If I'm a Seattle fan or even a Commander fan, I'm not excited about Dan Quinn. That just doesn't really turn up the buzz meter. Dallas, I think if you're going to run it back, run it back. Hope that he comes back. And he knows the defense, he knows the personnel, he knows what they need, and hopefully that helps. But I'm not excited about a Dan Quinn. I would rather have a guy, Ben Johnson would have been great. He wants to stay in Detroit. I think that's a win for the Lions for sure. But how about a Bobby Slowick or one of these younger coordinators that come in and can add some excitement maybe, and Dan Quinn just doesn't do it for me.
Well, and again, are you thinking about just the fact that he was running more zone versus man against the Packers, which is different than what he's done? I mean, he made it very easy to criticize. Now, what we don't know, was he forced into doing that because of personnel issues, right? And we have no real answer to that.
We're saying Dan Quinn was forced. I don't think Dan Quinn was forced into anything.
With personnel issues, if there were guys injured or not capable of doing what they were doing, was he trying to call defenses knowing that he didn't have, was there an injury that we aren't really aware of? Or, did he feel like he needed to do that because of his personnel? And there are times that coaches do that, but generally we would have found out by now. Now, granted, with the end of the season, what was he going to say? Well, we had no linebackers, so we knew we couldn't do that. The best approach was to try to go with the zone, which would be, I don't know, dumb. It just felt like, it just feels like Dan Quinn against his former coaches gets torched. Dan Quinn felt like he coached that Packers game because he knew he had the Seattle job, and the sooner the Cowboys season ended, he could get on to living in Seattle and building his new team. I mean, that's how I felt.
It seems like it, yes.
Felt that way. But he still doesn't have that job, so maybe not. I mean, part of me wants to give him a benefit of the doubt on why he was doing that and never changed from it unless he couldn't, right? And we don't know the answer to that. He hasn't said anything. No players have said anything. So it really just makes him look like, what the hell were you thinking, Dan? This was a bad plan, and you never adjusted.
You knew coming in the last 3 games that Aaron Jones played against the Cowboys, he ran all over him.
Yes.
I mean, don't you have to game plan for that first and foremost? I mean, if maybe it is the personnel as you suggest, but I'm doing everything I can to stop the run, and I'm making Jordan Love beat me.
Well,
I know Jordan Love played well. I know he played well down the stretch, but I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that he is one-dimensional, that he doesn't have the running game of Aaron Jones, and the Cowboys clearly didn't do that.
Well, I mean, they tried last April. They drafted Mozzie Smith.
Well,
let's get our run stopper in here.
Smith and Schoonmaker out of Michigan. Couple of Michigan men.
You're going to blame the university, huh?
I am. And I don't know why the Cowboys keep going back there. I mean, is Taco Charlton not enough?
Jeez. It's Taco Tuesday.
Well, it is that, isn't it? I would stay away from Michigan if I'm the Cowboys. I just don't think that Michigan and Dallas, it doesn't mix. It's oil and water. No, I'm not, Pledge. No, I mean, that's just stupid. No, I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys, not the Detroit Lions. They should stay away from Michigan. They don't have good luck with Michigan folks. That doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't. Pledge starts writing in big letters. So it's like, oh, this is good. It's not.
Aiden Hutchinson was great. Unfortunately, he wasn't drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. He was drafted by the Detroit Lions.
Cowboys didn't pass on him either, right?
No.
Because he was a good Michigan player.
A good Michigan player, yeah.
He's pretty
I'm just
good.
saying something about Dallas and Michigan players just don't mix.
Not yet. Jury's still out on Mozzie. Might take him a couple, 3 years.
So who's Michigan's available? Maybe their quarterback.
No, not their quarterback, but I wouldn't mind in the 3rd round their running back.
Their running back, okay.
Their running back's pretty good. I mean, it's weird this year when you think about the Cowboys' needs.
this draft, and I haven't really started deep diving into the draft, I don't think there's a running back in the first 2 rounds in this draft.
No.
Right?
I don't think so.
Am I missing anybody, Pledge? Is there a running back you think is going to go in the first 2 rounds?
First 2?
I mean, there's no first-round running back. I don't know if there's a second-round running back. I think there's a couple that'd be good from the 3rd round. The Ohio State kid, the Michigan kid. I think, but I think they'd be a stretch to say they're second-rounders at this point. Certainly, there's not a Bijan Robinson type running back.
The best 2 running backs coming out this year are probably Jonathan Brooks and Trey Benson from Florida State. Jonathan Brooks, who tore his ACL for the University of Texas.
Yeah. But are they not first-rounders? Or not second-rounders? Right?
I mean, I don't think people are going to do that and draft a first-round running back. It's just not the way the trend is going now.
Although Detroit did, and everybody laughed at him, and that Gibbs guy's pretty damn good.
Well, he is good, and they've got a good running game for sure.
Although he came on strong after Montgomery was injured, and they figured out how to use him. So
I would much rather see the Cowboys do that than go out and get a guy. Because right now, free agent running backs, Derrick Henry, I don't know if he's the answer. It'd be great, short yardage, and that was something the Cowboys lack. But
Saquon.
Perhaps. Are you going to pay him?
Well, no.
I mean, that's the thing. Are you going to pay him?
Jacobs?
I would much rather go out and see them draft a guy like you mentioned, the 2 kids that you mentioned, the kid from Florida State, in the 3rd or 4th round, and try and start something there. It's worked for other teams. They've been successful doing that. So that's what I'd like to see the Cowboys do.
Let's talk about it with Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk. She joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. If you're dealing with any issues at your house with your plumbing, your AC, your heater this time of year, this week, you might need both. The AC in the day, the heater at night. You got an issue. Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC will get you taken care of. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are full service. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quartermoon, they do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quartermoon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 is the phone number. 651-5899 or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown.
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Over the past decade, the Roof Hub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roof Hub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Celebrating 10 years in business, the Roof Hub is next to the Angry Elephant there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem, and it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language? In as little as 3 weeks, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com.
When something happens to your car, you might say, "No!
My car!
But what you really need to say is something that can actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And just like that, State Farm is there to help you file your claim right on the State Farm mobile app. So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's James Spudger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative and non-surgical drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain from arthritis or injury. Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics' advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolution to long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk, run, play, and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
The Jim Rome Show, weekdays at noon.
I love San Antonio, man. I love it.
On 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jay Simonix. So much to get into with Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk, who joins us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. I want to carry the conversation from the last segment over, Charean, regarding Dan Quinn and the fact that, you know, with Ben Johnson pulling his name out of contention or consideration for both Washington and Seattle, does this mean in your eyes that Dan Quinn will likely get one of those two jobs?
I don't know if I would say likely. I think they're still going through interviews, both teams. I think he's more likely to get the Seahawks job than he is to get the Commanders job, but we'll see. I mean, obviously he's in DC right now interviewing with the Commanders, so there's obviously a chance that he can get that job. So a chance for both, I guess, at this point. He's still in contention, not out of the running, so we'll see what happens. But, you know, Ben Johnson obviously was looked at as a favorite for the Washington job with his relationship with Adam Peters and just doing what he's done over the last few years with the Lions.
You know, Charean, it's interesting, and we were talking about it. Why do you think it's taking Seattle and Washington as long as it is? With some of these other spots that filled up, and they seem to just be taking their time.
Well, I mean, we had two, you know, you can't start interviews now until they backed it up. So the Rooney rules have changed. So last year we had two hirings on February 14th. And that was after the Super Bowl, obviously. So this is just going to be typical now of when we're going to see these hirings because they backed it up. Unless you know who you're going to hire. In the Raiders' case, they could start their in-person interviews with minority candidates because they didn't interview anyone in the NFL. So they were doing outside, you know, the Leslie Frazier's and guys in college. You can do that. But you can't interview guys within the NFL as quickly as what the Raiders did to fill their position. So that's why it's taken so long. Of course, Seattle was a little later firing. They're moving on, however you want to phrase it. They did fire him. I mean, Pete Carroll made clear that he wanted to return. But so however you want to phrase that, mutual pardoning, whatever happened in Seattle was a little bit later than what Washington was. But I just think that, you know, they're doing their due diligence, and I think that they have some of these coordinators for the Lions and the Ravens that they are very interested in. And so they had to wait till this week to be able to do that. Whether those teams won or lost, they had to wait till this week. So I think that was a big part of it is these coordinators, both coordinators from both the Ravens and the Lions, they wanted to interview a second time. And so they have interviewed. The Commanders did, Aaron Glenn, and then, of course, Ben Johnson, as you said, pulled his name out of consideration, and they're interviewing Dan Quinn now again today. So I think we'll have a decision from both of these teams by late in the week. The NFL really frowns on making any hires and doing any big news like that during Super Bowl week. So I would expect these both to come before Sunday. If they don't, I think it'll be another week after that before we have hiring.
Interesting. Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk joining us here on the Blitz. Jerry Jones said today the approach this offseason is going to be different. It's going to be an all-in approach. Your first thoughts when you heard that coming out of Jerry's mouth?
Okay. And how are they going to do this under the salary cap? Yeah, I don't see that happening. I mean, he made it sound like they're going to spend big money on free agents. You got to spend big money on re-signing your own players. So I don't know quite how this is going to work. I don't think they're going to go out and make a big splash in free agency. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll do a lot to fix their cap, and a big thing would obviously be getting Dak Prescott's extension done. If they get that done, they'll have more money to go out and spend in free agency, and I would be a little more inclined to say, okay, maybe they will go out and spend more than they have recently in free agency. The 2 trades last offseason, and those worked out pretty well for them. So maybe it's something along those lines more than going out and signing big-name free agents. I like the 2 trades that they made last year. So we'll see if he's really going to do that, and I hope he does. I hope he does go all in on this team because I think their core is good enough to get them over the hump. They need to fill in some spots that they just weren't very good. I mean, you need bigger linebackers and inside linebackers than what they had this year. That's one spot. Obviously, they can get better with Gilmore, a free agent. What are you going to do at the other position? Maybe you're not going to re-sign Gilmore. Maybe you're not going to get another veteran corner in here with Bland and Diggs now coming back. So maybe you don't do that. But they definitely have some spots that they need to improve in. Running back being the biggest one probably on offense. I think they also need another receiver. Frankly, you're probably going to move on from Michael Gallup. You're going to have to get a third receiver or maybe even a second receiver who's going to come in and help you and take some pressure off of CeeDee Lamb.
Charean, what did you make out of Stephen Jones' comments when it came to the fans? And I know sometimes, players and coaches, they say they don't listen, but it really seems like Stephen and Jerry have heard the noise this year and the disappointment from the fans. And Stephen addressed that today, saying he doesn't blame fans for not trusting the organization.
Yeah, well, after whatever 3 decades almost that it's been, and then they last won a Super Bowl, it's hard to trust them. I mean, fans are frustrated, and we talked about the families of the players last week. That frustration really boiled over into the families and everything else because the fans were going after the families of the players. So, I just think it's just been a long time, and I think they're as frustrated as anybody else is. Any of the fans are, but they're the only ones who can fix it and make it better. And I think Jerry's words are great, but I mean, I'm sitting here saying, I'll believe it when I see it. And it's the same thing with getting to the Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl. I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, every year we do the same thing of, they lost in the postseason. Now it's 24 years, 25 years, 26 years, 27 years, without being in the championship. Everybody knows 1995. Everybody is familiar with 1995, the last time that they got to the championship game. So, I just think everybody's frustrated. I do think they can hear it. They can't ignore it. There's no way to ignore the noise because it's so loud.
Charean Williams here on the Blitz. Charean, we'll all be in Vegas next week, getting ready for Super Bowl featuring Kansas City and San Francisco. At halftime of the NFC Championship game, a lot of us were thinking Detroit was going to go. They were actually going to get it done.
Yeah.
And they didn't. Your thoughts on the Dan Campbell decision-making in the second half? 3 big plays. Obviously, the 2 times going for it instead of kicking field goals, and then the run play. And I saw you tweet at some point during the game, it's Dan being Dan. Was Dan making the right decisions in those moments?
Well, nobody's questioning his decision to kick it before halftime. I really thought they were going to go for it there. They'd gone for it. Hey, that's 4 points if they'd done it. So nobody's questioning that one because they ended up getting the points. They are questioning the 2 calls. I just wrote one on Josh Reynolds on his 2 drops. And, he said, I didn't want to drop them, but stuff happens or something in those kind of words. So, they had the first one. it was right in Josh Reynolds' hands, and he dropped the ball. And if he catches that one, nobody's talking about the decision not to go for it. These are decisions that coaches make that either turn you into a genius or make you look like a dummy. And we saw it. I refer to this one all the time, but Sean Payton's decision in the second half of the Super Bowl against the Colts to start with an onside kick. If that doesn't work and the Colts win that game, can you imagine the heat that Sean Payton would take? It would be just like what we're hearing with Dan Campbell. So you're either a genius or you're an idiot. If it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't work, you're an idiot. And right now we're sitting here saying Dan Campbell's an idiot because he went for it twice and did it. What I would really like to ask Dan, and will at some point when I see him this offseason, and probably at the combine, is did you not trust your kicker? They changed kickers. This is a guy they cut in training camp, and then they brought him back because they didn't like their kicker because he missed a couple extra points. So there may be something in play there with not trusting the kicker. Okay, they did that. They went out and got a different kicker because they didn't trust their kicker. But at this point in the season, you're not going to go out and get a Justin Tucker. It doesn't work like that. So my thought is he didn't trust Michael Badgley to make those kicks is one reason that he decided to go for it. That's my belief. And again, I don't know that for a fact because I don't think he was asked those questions. I've read a couple of transcripts of his press conferences this week. And if it was asked, I certainly didn't see it. But that is the question I have, is this a reflection on your belief in your kicker? Because I don't think he had a lot of faith in his kicker either.
Well, Charean, I agree with you. I was all for Dan Campbell. I have no problem with what he did because that's what he does. And again, that first fourth down play, you convert that right there. You're taking another 3-4 minutes off the clock, if nothing else, and it should have been done. So I have no issue with what Dan Campbell did there. So I'm happy to hear that you don't seem to either.
Well, and I disagree. I think you go up 3 scores. Now, if he were to come out and say, well, I had to go for it because have you seen my kicker? All right, I get you, but he, I haven't seen that, and that was a makeable kick. But if he doesn't trust his kicker, that's obviously a game changer, and it's different than what the Green Bay coach apparently said during one of their pre-production meetings, and it got out that they weren't overly confident in their kicker.
You pray every time
exactly.
he goes out there.
I mean, if that were the case, then all right, give him a pass. Otherwise, I know your aggressive nature. You made the right decision, I thought, at the end of the first half. When I was surprised, I thought he would try to go up 21, not 17. Yeah. Just in a championship game, you got to be a little bit different, and 3 scores is just so different that you at least got to do that. And then with a chance to tie it, you got to do that. Although that one, especially if you don't have confidence in your kicker, no way you're sending him out for that long field goal in that scenario. And then, of course, I don't think there's any defense for running it down there on the goal line inside of 2 minutes.
That was more egregious. And if you're asking me what I would do, I would have kicked it. I would have kicked the first one to remain up 3 scores. Because at that point, the 49ers, there would start to be more urgency being down 3 scores than what it was. At that point, they had all the momentum. I would have kicked it. I was not surprised that he didn't kick it. And they did have the first down picked up if Josh Reynolds doesn't drop the ball. The second one, I had less of a problem with because A, it was a longer field goal, and B, because the 49ers could have taken the ball and probably driven all the way down for a game-winning field goal, game-winning touchdown, whatever it entailed at that point, and run the time off the clock. So that one, to me, I had less, probably the second one I had less of a problem with than the first one. But the first one, I think if they had kicked the field goal and made the field goal, I think that game would have the outcome would have been different. I think the Lions would have held on and won that game. But you look at everything that happened in that game, everything that happened. The fumble, no one's talking about the fumble. How huge was the fumble? If it had been Jared Goff throwing an interception, would we be talking more about it? Yes, more than likely. If you don't have the fumble, if Josh Reynolds makes the catch, if Brandon Ayuk doesn't catch the ball off the face mask, if that ball is intercepted or even batted away, if they kick the field goal there. I mean, there's literally 4 or 5 things that if they happen in that game, the Lions win that game. You only need one of those things to happen. and they didn't. It was just like an avalanche that you just can't explain. Everything starts going bad, and you can't get it turned around.
Sometimes you need a little luck on your side, right, Charean?
Yeah, well, all they had was bad luck. I wrote that in the Josh Reynolds for that. They had luck. It was just all bad luck for them.
It was. And for San Francisco, it was a ladybug on Brandon Ayuk's shoe.
That's it right there, right?
Sometimes you get that kind of luck. Charean Williams from Pro Football Talk. It'll be fun next week to see you in person out in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll have a fun week.
Absolutely. Good stuff. We'll talk to you next week. Charean Williams, make sure you follow her on Twitter at NFL Charean as she joins us on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond online at buyersbarricades.com. Guys, Synergenics can help conquer your New Year's resolutions. If your New Year's resolution was to get out and do more, go to the gym, get off the couch. But if you're dealing with a lack of energy, motivation, low libido, these could all be caused by low T levels. Your testosterone levels start to decline in your 30s. So if you're drive, it could be caused by low T. At Synergenics, they exclusively specialize in testosterone treatment and make it quick and easy to get your levels checked. And with the convenience of their on-site lab there at Synergenics, you get your results back at your first visit. At Synergenics, you will get customized care from testosterone specialists. Book an appointment and get into Synergenics today. Do that online at the website, fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
The NFL playoffs are here.
Read all about it, baby. One last drive.
Wild card, divisional, conference championship, and Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Hear it on your exclusive home for the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Buyers Barricades is proud to provide traffic control, rental, and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
eBay Motors is here for the ride.
120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's awesome when it's Super Bowl time, but it also sucks because you realize there's one game left.
Yeah, but it's cool to have 2 weeks to hype this thing up. And next week's going to be a blast with all the people we have lined up and surprise guests that will come up and all of that stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun out there in Vegas.
Next week, our AA Best Bail Bonds Radio Row coverage powered by Synergenics and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. And, the more things change and the more they stay the same, it's interesting. And I always wonder about these guys. It's kind of like what I was saying when Jeff Traylor's name was up for the A&M job or the Houston job.
Yeah.
Strike while the iron is hot.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Johnson. I don't want to be a head coach. I'm going to stay in Detroit and run it back. Dan Quinn last year. I want one more time with these guys. And, remember when Kellen Moore was the hottest name and going to be the, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Slowick. It's breaking news, Pledge. Texans, breaking news. Maybe. Fumble. Bobby Slowick is going to stay. He's gonna another year with CJ Stroud. What if the next year's not as good? His name might not be as hot.
Maybe not.
I don't see that, but I appreciate guys that stay. I do.
Well, like Dan Quinn did this year, and he basically said the same thing that Ben Johnson said. Got unfinished business to take care of. Now Quinn didn't complete that, but maybe Ben Johnson can.
And I get that. And, and if it's true that Ben Johnson was looking for $15 million as a head coach a year,
that's Sean Payton money. What are you talking about?
Are you kidding? I mean, we would all like $15 million a year.
I think you're the glory boy there in Denver is getting 18.
Yeah. Glory boy.
Jeez. What an overrated
Here we go.
Coach.
Here we go.
Jeez.
Just relax. Don't get sidetracked.
There's a list of overrated coaches. He's got to be at the top. I'm done. I'm good.
Are you sure?
Sure. Yes.
All right. Squirrel. What are you laughing at? I don't even know where we were going now.
$15 million a year.
Yeah, $15 million a year. He wants to live in Sean Payton's neighborhood because why not? That's where all the great offensive coaches live. I'm excited for CJ Stroud and for the Houston Texans.
Yep.
For D'Amico, that Bobby Slowick is staying. I think that's huge news. I think it's huge for Detroit that a coordinator is going to stay because probably this year more than any singular season, you saw the importance of coordinators.
Yep.
I mean, we've always known that they were important, right? They're and that's coordinators become head coaches. But at the same time, if you've got a chance to go be a head coach, like we didn't see in Philadelphia, those two dudes say, we just lost the Super Bowl. We've got unfinished business. We're going to run it back. No, they struck while the iron was hot.
Yeah.
Right? Because you just don't know how long you're going to have an opportunity to be at the top of all the lists.
Well, maybe those guys are thinking, there could be a big job open in Dallas next year.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's possible, but Jerry ain't paying a coach $15 million a year.
He's not. But, if Ben Johnson rolls the dice, which he's doing, and Detroit goes back to the NFC Championship game or farther, I mean, his stock's only going to rise.
Or
the other way.
I mean,
which I think is what's hurting Dan Quinn right now, to be totally honest with you.
You know, your last thing on tape is what people remember the most. You think about Kellen Moore a couple years ago, interviewed for head coaching jobs.
He did.
And this year he had a couple of offensive coordinator jobs, and he took one in Philadelphia. I didn't see his name unless it was on there, unless he was a cattle call for a head coaching job. Did Kellen Moore even interview for?
I don't believe that he did. No.
Any of the head coaching jobs?
Not that I heard of.
He interviewed for the Chargers job.
Okay, well, he's in the building.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But I know it was the Browns, OC, Philly, and I think there was one other. The Bears, I think, was one that he interviewed for.
8 head coaching jobs open.
Yeah.
And Kellen Moore, who 3 years ago, was one of the hottest assistant coaches names out there, stayed or didn't get a job, but he stayed.
Yeah.
And this cycle, not a serious candidate to be a head coach when 25% of the league was open. I'm excited for Bobby Slowick and the Texans, but strike while the iron's hot. Same with Ben Johnson.
Well, I'm excited for those guys because, look, I mean, if Houston's got some work to do, obviously, they've got to re-sign some guys, and I think they'll get that done. Detroit they're complete. And there's not a lot of work that needs to be done there, especially when you're talking about his offense. They've got their running backs. They've got some hot young receivers, and Jared Goff's playing well. So I think when you look at that and you say, well, you know, a Super Bowl is in sight. Certainly a lot of things can happen over the course of a season, but Super Bowl right there is in sight. They were mighty close to it this year, and you want to try and get back there again.
Now, according to Albert Breer on Twitter, Bobby Slowick has agreed to a new deal in Houston, one that includes a significant raise. He did impress multiple clubs through the interview process.
I'm sure he did.
But he is going to stay in Houston. And obviously, if things stay consistent, he will be a hot name again in 2025. And if the Texans take another step forward, if they improve on what they did this year, and you got to believe that they will, just with better players, free agents that they're going to be able to attract, I think all of that is in play. So in a lot of ways, you look at this and say, maybe that was his, long-term strategy. I'm going to stay here, build on what we've started with CJ, and then next year I can command a higher salary as a head coach. Although I find it nuts to think that if Josina Anderson's reports are true, that Ben Johnson was looking for a contract, first-time head coach at $15 million per. I don't blame him for swinging big, but come on, man.
Well, yeah, but he knew he had something to fall back on. Hey, if somebody's going to offer me $15 million, I'll take it. If not, I'm okay here in Detroit, and we'll run it back again and see what happens. So why not shoot for the moon? And both of those guys, the good news are, I know Johnson's 37. I think the Slowick's right in that realm too. So they're both under 40 and young guys with obviously impressive football minds.
Although it would take about $15 million for me to go work in Washington. I'd probably go to Seattle for 12.
Nah. It rains too much.
In Seattle?
In Seattle.
And weather's not much better in D.C.
This is very well. It's certainly not much better in Detroit either.
Yeah, but they play inside.
Well, they do.
They play inside.
That's a big difference.
A big difference.
Yeah.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Start. Time for our injury update powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. They're online at TSAOG.com. Let's welcome on the Buyers Barricades guest line, Dr. Christian Baldwin, joining us now. And Doc, we've got the Super Bowl coming up a week from Sunday. Not far off, pitchers and catchers are going to report, and already bad news for the World Series champs. Corey Seager undergoes a sports hernia surgery today, or at least they're announcing it today. Hopes he'll be ready for opening day. Sports hernia this time of year for a baseball player, that's not something that he put off for a while, is it? Or is that something that could have just happened over the holidays.
Yeah, it could have happened during his just lead up and off season training, and bothered him enough that he wanted to take care of it before the season gets going here. So he should be back fairly quickly, and hopefully have no issues from this.
Dr. Bolden, what causes a sports hernia?
Well, sports hernia is basically a slight injury to the lower abdominal wall, and it can be a multitude of things depending on what your training regimen is. It sounds like he had a little bit of a setback where something irritated it. And once you tweak it, it continues to be a lingering issue a lot of times, and a lot of players, I think, more and more are taking the option of moving forward with surgery. So, it's a tough injury to come back from, but it's not as bad as a lot of them could be.
Knucklehead question, but is there a difference between a regular hernia issue and a sports hernia?
Yeah, a regular hernia is a significant defect where usually you have GI contacts, like the small bowel, a large bowel that can herniate through that, and that's a lot bigger deal, a lot bigger surgery. So that's completely different from a sports hernia.
Interesting. And we're talking about the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs guard Joe Thuney has a torn pectoral. Pectoral? Is that how you say that? Pec. He's got a torn pec. Yeah. He's getting some options according to reports, but he's considered a long Super Bowl. Is that an injury that takes a while to heal?
Yeah, absolutely. And, really, like most injuries, it depends really exactly what type it is. If he injured his tendon where it attaches to the upper part of the arm, then that just doesn't do well without surgery. You want to go in and fix that. If it's more in the muscle, then it's a little bit of an iffy case, not as black and white, a little bit more gray. But regardless, it's tough to be playing at a high level with a significant injury to your pec.
Dr. Kristen Bolden joining us here on the Blitz for our injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. It always sucks when a guy's hurt right before the Super Bowl. Like for the Chiefs, Charles Omenihu, a pass rusher, torn ACL. We know he can't play. But for Joe Thuney and a torn pec, he's a guard. Is there a way that he would be able to play and be effective because of his position, some medicine, numb it up? It's the Super Bowl. Adrenaline will get you through.
There's always some options. I think that's a position where, you're really, really using your upper body muscles a lot, play after play after play. And so, if he has a significant injury there, he might be able to push through it, but I doubt he would be as effective as you would hope. And in this big game, you want all your players playing at the highest level they can.
All right, Doc, Kirk Cousins is 36 years old, or he will be before the start of the season. He's recovering from a torn Achilles. Obviously, age has got to play a little part in that, but apparently they're saying he's ahead of schedule. A 36-year-old, does it make a difference with an injury like that? If you're 10 years younger at 26?
Well, Achilles injuries, as you've seen throughout, a multitude of sports, it usually happens in the mid-30s kind of athlete, or late 30s even, like Aaron Rodgers, Kobe Bryant. Here we are with Kirk Cousins. And so it typically doesn't happen in the 20-year-olds, although it can. I do think that with his position, he should be able to get back and be effective. He's not a super mobile quarterback, obviously, so he has a better chance of getting back and being at the same level that he was prior to his injury.
All right, so you say same level. There was reports yesterday that, because he is a free agent, he is looking for at least 2 years, $90 million guaranteed. Is that a safe number for a guy coming off of the Achilles injury like Kirk Cousins is?
I mean, that certainly sounds like a big number to me, but I'm not an agent. I certainly don't deal with the money side of things, but that sounds like an astronomical contract for somebody coming back from a pretty significant injury.
So that would make a difference to you if you were the doctor on a team that was considering signing Kirk Cousins. That would be something you would be concerned about and certainly want to check out before you start scratching a check.
Yeah, certainly. I think you look at the player as a whole, and you really look at what he was before, and was he worth that money before the injury? And if you feel confident that he can make it back to the same level, and you think he is worth that money, then maybe he is. But as far as the worth of a contract, that's not something that I want to be involved in. That's for sure.
Yeah, very, very true. Let's talk about a significant NBA injury the other day, one that looks so much worse than what it's turning out to be. And the Knicks are having a great season. Julius Randle left that game, and the way he hurt his arm and the way it looked like, man, he might be done for the year. Now they're saying he might only miss a couple of weeks with his shoulder injury because he avoided any significant injury, and they're just saying it was a right shoulder dislocation. So if it's not significant, it's just dislocated, why is he missing multiple weeks?
Well, a shoulder dislocation is to me, it's a significant injury. And if you're going to go back and you're going to play at a high level in a professional league, it's going to be tough to do, especially if you're using your arms quite a bit like you do in most sports, and especially in his sport. So he has a high chance for this continue to be an issue throughout the season. Now, if he doesn't have any recurrent issues of it feeling like it's going to pop out or come out again, he may be able to finish the season, but I'll be very surprised if he doesn't have surgery at some point throughout this year. Potentially he'll try to finish out the year, but he'll likely have surgery at the end of it.
Interesting. Dr. Christian Baldwin, always appreciate the knowledge and insight, my friend.
Anytime, guys. You have a good night.
Appreciate it. Dr. Christian Baldwin with the injury update, powered by the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine, online at tsaog.com. He joins us, of course, on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. Extra innings with Pledge coming up next. Got a whole hour today.
So the Bobby Slowik show.
It's coming up next. Is that what's coming up next?
Well, I mean, there's a lot coming up. Slowik's part of it, but the fact that, Dan Quinn's name's still bandied about around.
Well, you got to get your 2 cents in.
A little bit, maybe. Ron Rivera's name mentioned as a possible replacement.
Wow.
You didn't just take your whole plan and throw it out the door because Bobby Slowik's coming back?
Yeah. I've got 4 whole segments.
All right.
I'm just saying, you were jumping around in there. Like you even fumbled the breaking news because you were getting all excited.
I mean, it's an exciting thing.
I
don't have to worry about my rookie quarterback having to change coordinators in his very second year. It's usually a death sentence for quarterbacks.
You need to change that. That would be your Pro Bowl rookie quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Pro Bowl. Wow.
I was seeing there's 109 Pro Bowlers now with all the replacements.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, triggers bonuses, man. The NFLPA is happy about that.
Yeah, it's no longer about merit. That's for damn sure.
If I'm CJ Stroud, I'm just saying, hey, I'm replacing Patrick Mahomes, all right?
Yeah.
That's what I'd be bragging about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patrick couldn't go because he's playing in the Super Bowl. You go to Orlando and play in a flag game, my friend.
Baker Mayfield's replacing Dak Prescott, for goodness sake.
Dak Prescott had to pull out because he's about to have a baby.
Well, obviously he didn't pull out. That's why he's having a baby.
Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Took you 4 hours to finally hit that one off a tee. 4 hours before you finally hit that one off the tee.
Well, and it was a home run, too. It's better to do it in the 9th inning than the 1st.
What do they say? If it lasts longer than 4 hours, call a doctor?
Well, we're at 3 hours and 55 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it's like pulling teeth with Ryan Nagel.
Sometimes it is. Absolutely it is. We don't want to pull teeth, though, that's for sure. But if you've got some missing teeth, I've got some great news for you. In fact, are you fed up with your old dental routine? I'm going to change that in about 60 seconds. Those endless trips to the dentist when you're dealing with missing teeth, temporary fixes, they never seem to stick. Doctors' implants